Chapter 22. Shangwan Mansion, Blue Courtyard. In the living room of a luxurious room, all sorts of delicacies were served. Lin Shen wolfed them down. How could he have the demeanor of a grandmaster? Patting his belly in satisfaction, Lin Shen picked his teeth, crossed his legs, and stretched comfortably. Shangwan Bihan was very well-mannered. She waited for Lin Shen to finish eating before asking for guidance. Then, Grandmaster Shirleji, may I ask how my problem can be solved? What kind of pill can I take to solve it? Lin Shen lazily waved his hand. Stretch out your hand and let this Grandmaster touch it. Naturally, it can be solved for you. Hearing this, Shangwan Bihan's expression changed slightly. She had been brought up very strictly since she was a child. Men of her age couldn't even ask for a chance to see her, let alone let a youth touch her. Even when she brought Lin Shen into the mansion, she had sneaked in through the secret passage at the gate. Grandmaster, can you change the method? This method is not convenient for Bihan. Shangwan Bihan awkwardly requested. I don't have any other methods. If you don't want to, then find someone else. This is not a problem that can be solved with pills. Otherwise, how could those high-grade alchemists around you not see it? Lin Shen shrugged and was about to get up. This, Shangwan Bihan hesitated awkwardly. If I do anything that crosses the line, then the old man behind the window protecting you will naturally make a move. Moreover, this is equivalent to greeting each other in my hometown. Lin Shen casually glanced at the window and pretended to smile profoundly. From the beginning, Lin Shen had sensed a powerful aura protecting Shangwan Bihan. It was much stronger than the 2 9th layer spirit detection realm guards. If you don't want to, then I'll leave first. Although your food is very delicious. Seeing Shangwan Bihan hesitate, Lin Shen directly added fuel to the fire, urging her to hurry up and make a decision. As expected, the moment Lin Shen stood up, Shangwan Bihan pursed her red lips. Then, Grandmaster, can you promise that today's matter won't be spread out? Otherwise, it will affect Bihan's reputation. Lin Shen couldn't help but roll his eyes. This Shangwan family was really arrogant. Lin Shen thought to himself, just look at my handsome face and you'll know that I'm a tight-lipped person. Let's not talk too much. Let's get down to business first. Give me your hand. Lin Shen chuckled. Shangwan Bihan's body trembled slightly, but she still rolled up her sleeves, revealing her snow-white arms in front of Lin Shen. Raising his hand, Lin Shen's 5 fingers directly grasped Shangwan Bihan's tender and soft hand, causing the latter to tremble a few times as if she had been electrocuted. Tisk, TSK, TSK, this Miss Shangwan Bihan is really made of water. Lin Shen exclaimed in his heart, but he could already vaguely feel a murderous intent locking onto him. If he did anything out of line, he was afraid that he would immediately anger that expert hiding in the dark. Closing his eyes, Lin Shen operated his spiritual power. In his vision, he saw attribute balls the size of a thumb rapidly fusing into Lin Shen's body. Host received 1578 points of water energy, 3,498 points of water energy, 9,487 points of water energy. Having no time to pay attention to the system screen, Lin Shen pulled out the attribute balls that flew out of Shangwan Bihan's body and immediately let go within 2 breaths of time. Phew, done. In the future, as long as you repeat the steps of today several times, then disperse a portion of her battle chi, you'll be able to avoid fatal danger in the future. Lin Shen pretended to be very exhausted as he panted. Shangwan Bihan's fingertips lightly pressed on her meridians and apertures, and found that the pain had lessened by a lot. She asked doubtfully and worriedly, why do I have to disperse my battle chi? Dispersing the battle chi cultivated by a cultivation method would cause one's cultivation to regress. This was a price that not many people could bear. If I'm not wrong, Miss Bihan, you should be a person with a special bloodline. Your bloodline carries the unique abilities and characteristics of your ancestors, right? Yes. Our Shangwan family is a bloodline passed down from our ancestors. Shangwan Bihan nodded in agreement. This wasn't a big secret. That's right. The potential and energy in your bloodline will reach a new peak in half a month. The cultivation method you cultivate just so happens to be a high-level cultivation method. The higher the level of your cultivation method, the more it will change your physique, bones, and even bloodline. If you hadn't met me, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Lin Chen's explanation both shocked and puzzled Shangwan Bihan. She asked anxiously, "But Bihan's cultivation method has been cultivated to an extremely high level by some of our ancestors. It doesn't seem to be a threat to their lives? Because their bloodline is far inferior to yours, such a situation didn't occur." Lin Chen's words enlightened her. Even the mysterious expert hiding behind the scenes had revealed himself. Bihan, this old man understands. This Grandmaster should be talking about the one and only second bloodline awakening in our Shangwan family. Our family hasn't had a second bloodline awakening for over 1,000 years. This time, we're finally going to rise. There's coal in the snow. There's coal in the snow. The gray-robed old servant congratulated Shangwan Bihan. He also withdrew his vigilance towards Lin Shun and spoke seriously. This old man apologizes to Grandmaster for his previous actions. Lin Shun smiled indifferently. After all, your family only has one precious child. I can understand why you're overprotective. I can actually awaken my bloodline a second time. Shangwan Bihan became excited. If this was true, then the price of dispersing her cultivation method was not worth mentioning. In the Shangwan family, which was rich in resources, the loss of cultivation could be recovered in a short time. Lin Shun could see the attribute light balls, so he could see the situation in Shangwan Bihan's body. If he hadn't taken action, perhaps no one in Wanling City would have been able to save her after this incident. Only then did Lin Shun notice that there were many high-quality attribute light balls in the hall. He immediately walked over and bent down to pick them up. The two looked at each other in confusion. Why was this Grandmaster suddenly grabbing at the air in the hall? Grandmaster Shirleji, what are you doing? This Grandmaster is helping your Shangwan family inspect the feng shui luck for free. The feng shui luck here is not good. Lin Shun spoke nonsense with a serious face. The two's eyes immediately lit up. Grandmaster can also see through this? The gray-robed old servant asked excitedly. I can more or less see through it. Lin Shun pretended to be humble and nodded. Just as the two looked at each other and were about to speak, the sound of hurried footsteps came from outside the door. Bihan, are you in there? I heard from Aunt Lu that you brought someone back. Where are you? The hurried footsteps came to the door, and the person directly pushed the door open. There were 3 figures, led by a handsome young man in white holding a white feather fan. He looked elegant and handsome, and was only 24-25 years old. When the young man in white who had barged into the room saw Lin Shun, he immediately scolded him. Where did you come from, wild brat? Why are you in Bihan's pavilion? Chapter 23. Cousin Xingyu, don't be rude to the master. Shangwan Bihan stood in front of Lin Shun and reprimanded the white-clothed youth. The white-clothed youth's expression changed slightly. Ever since he stepped into this family, his cousin had never dared to reprimand him with such an attitude. What bullshit, master? Cousin, don't be fooled. Have you ever seen a master like this who hasn't even grown his hair yet? Seeing his cousin protecting this brat, the white-clothed youth was burning with jealousy. My hair is already fully grown. If you don't believe me, take a look. Lin Shun deliberately moved closer to Shangwan Bihan's back while playing with his hair. He winked at the white-clothed youth and smiled provocatively. The white-clothed youth's 2 bodyguards were speechless. This brat was a master? Cousin Xingyu, Master Shirleji is a guest fortune-teller I invited. If you don't show some respect, Bihan will definitely report this to the first elder. Shangwan Bihan, who had always been elegant and refined, was extremely determined this time as she questioned the white-clothed youth. He's a fortune-teller? Then this young master is the king of heaven. The white-clothed youth gnashed his teeth in jealousy. This brat actually dared to show off the distance between him and Bihan. TSK. You don't believe me? Young master, don't overindulge in lust in the future. I can see that your young fire is about to be sucked dry by a woman. If you don't believe me, Try circulating your battle chi to your shunshu acupoint. Lin Shin chuckled. The white-clothed youth was about to retort. Young Master Qingyu, why don't you try following the master's instructions? If he really is a fortune teller invited by Miss Han, you can't afford to bear the consequences. The gray-clothed old servant said indifferently. The white-clothed youth glanced at him with fear and then sneered. Then this young master will see what kind of master this is. The white-clothed youth closed his eyes and used his battle chi to locate the shunshu acupoint. The moment his battle chi entered the acupoint, the white-clothed youth's facial muscles twisted and he rolled on the ground in pain. Oh, it hurts so much. My kidney. Even the two accompanying guards were shocked by this scene. What was going on? Now you know the strength of the master. Shangwan Bihan said in an indifferent tone. Well, it's getting late. I know you have something to talk to me about, but I've overworked myself today and need a good rest. Lin Shun coughed a few times. Shangwan Bihan hurriedly said, Then I'll immediately arrange for the master's residence. Don't worry, I'll keep what happened between the two of us tonight a secret. Lin Shun deliberately whistled frivolously in front of the young man in white. Shangwan Bihan's cheeks flushed red as she softly hummed, Thank you, Grandmaster. What? Is it about the two of you tonight? When the white-clothed youth saw Shangwan Bihan's shy appearance, his heart immediately burned with a raging fire of jealousy. By the time the two guards helped the white-clothed youth up, Lin Shun and Shangwan Bihan had already walked away. As his pain gradually subsided, he looked at Lin Shen's back. You dare to touch my Nangong Qingyu's woman? You're just a brat. See how I'll kill you. Mother of asterisk it hurts. Shangwan Bihan personally arranged for Lin Chen's residence. Walking through the courtyard, Lin Chen also saw many attribute light balls, but he was not in a hurry to pick them up. He knew that he had successfully sneaked in as a fortune teller, and the attribute light balls here were already in his bag. The key was how to get close to the purple-gold light beam. In a good guest room, there was a red sandalwood incense burning in a room. Lin Chun sat cross-legged on the bed, forming a mysterious hand seal and entering a state of cultivation. The cultivation speed of this Genesis holy scripture is really terrifying. If I continue to cultivate at this speed, it will only take a month for my spiritual power to transform to the spiritual realm. In the 9 regions, the spiritual power realms were divided into several realms: virtual realm, spiritual transformation realm, and transcendence realm. The virtual realm was the spiritual power of mortals. Except for those with good innate aptitude, most mortals had weak spiritual power. In the spiritual realm, one spiritual power could come into contact with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, increasing one's spiritual power perception and forming a certain range of attack. In the spiritual transformation realm, one spiritual power would begin to assimilate with heaven and earth, gaining a large range of spiritual power perception and spiritual attack methods. In the transcendence realm, one spiritual power would condense into a spiritual dharma idol, connecting with the laws of heaven and earth. One spiritual power could leave the body and roam the 9 heavens. As long as one's spiritual power was not destroyed, one's consciousness would not be destroyed. If he could break through to the spiritual realm, Lin Shun would have one more trump card and method. For the entire night, Lin Shun was immersed in cultivation, forgetting to eat and sleep. What happened in the Shangwan family last night shocked all the upper echelons of the family, and even the elders who were in seclusion. Shangwan Bihan actually had the chance to become the second person in the Shangwan family to awaken their bloodline a second time. This caused countless elders to tremble in excitement. Moreover, this news came from a young fortune teller. If not for him, the Shangwan family would have lost one of their hopes of rising again. But there were also many upper echelons and elders of the Shangwan family who were skeptical. If this was a swindler, then wouldn't he be playing the entire family like monkeys? The next day, in the main hall of the Shangwan family, many of the upper echelons and elders of the Shangwan family had gathered. These people were all experts above the War Soul realm, and there were even some whose cultivation had far surpassed the war soul realm. Master Shirliji, this way please. Shangwan Bihan was dressed in a snow-white dress as she personally led Lin Chen into the hall. Boom! When Lin Chen stepped into the hall, a powerful pressure swept towards Lin Chen. Countless sharp, sword-like gazes pierced through his body, as if they wanted to see through all his secrets. Feeling this pressure, Lin Chen narrowed his eyes. Almost everyone in the hall was at least at the 9th level of the War Soul realm. Damn it, these old fellows are probably trying to intimidate me. The more it's like this, the more I can't back down. In the face of these gazes, Lin Chen was calm and collected. He lifted his feet and walked in. Without saying a word, he sat at the seat next to him and crossed his legs on the table. What is it? Everyone, do you see anything on this master's body? Lin Chen laughed mockingly, causing the elders and upper echelons of the family to exclaim in surprise. Such a young brat. He doesn't even feel like he's 18 years old. Body refinement is fine, cultivation is decent, and mental strength is tough. His temperament is not weak, but that's all. Why do I feel like we've been fooled by this brat? This old man has seen a few real fortune tellers, but none of them are like him. Huangfu Qingyu from last night was also present. He held his fan and sneered, looking down at Lin Chen condescendingly, as if he had already seen through his trickery. He smiled flatteringly at the upper echelons of the family. Everyone, I've always suspected that this brat is a swindler. Bihan was only fooled by him because of her lack of experience. Everyone, please immediately suppress this brat. Don't let him play with our entire family. A handsome middle-aged man sitting in the main hall glanced at him and said indifferently, whether he's real or fake, we will verify it ourselves. After being defeated, a hidden killing intent flashed across Huangfu Qingyu's eyes. Chapter 24. This young fortune teller friend, I am Shangwan Yinfan, the current head of the Shangwan family. I wonder if you can prove your ability to everyone here? Shangwan Yinfan smiled gracefully and did not put on airs or use the tone of an elder to pressure Lin Chen. Unexpectedly, Lin Chen, who was biting a bright red apple, waved his hand and said, "No." What? Damn it, where do you think my Shangwan family is? A bad-tempered elder stood up and stared at Lin Chen with an ominous glint in his eyes. Bang! To everyone's surprise, Lin Chen kicked over the table in front of him, spilling tea all over the floor. Then he raised his index finger and scolded loudly. F***CK. Who do you think I, divine fortune teller Shirliji, am? A fortune teller who calculates fate and pries into the secrets of the heavens has to pay a great price. Do you think this is a street show? Do you think I have to play just because you want me to? Is your grandma's brain flooded with water? This scene made the guard stationed outside the hall shudder with fear and trepidation. In the history of Myriad Spirit City, who dared to say such harsh words in front of all the higher-ups of the Shangwan family? Even Shangwan Yinfan was dumbfounded. What kind of deity was this? Even the chief alchemist of Myriad Spirit City did not dare to say such arrogant words in front of these people. Lin Chen knew himself well. He was a damned fortune teller. If he really demonstrated it, he might give himself away in front of these old monsters. Therefore, he had to be arrogant. He had to bluff. Grandmaster, please calm down. Father and the elders do not have any evil intentions. They are just curious and want to see Grandmaster's ability. Shangwan Bihan immediately comforted Lin Chen. The other elder also angrily sat back down after receiving a signal from another elder. Only then did Lin Chen straighten his collar and slowly return to his seat. If you're asking for help, you should have the attitude of asking for help. Don't make it seem like I'm the one asking for help. First, tell me what you want to talk to me about. A few elders who were relatively old immediately frowned and were about to flare up, but Shangwan Yunfan stretched out his hand to stop them. He could feel that this young man was definitely not an ordinary person. There was a kind of mystery about him that he could not see through. I've offended you just now. In that case, let's cut to the chase. Our Shangwan clan uses the bloodline inherited from our ancestors to cultivate secret techniques. We have a special ability, the purple golden eyes. Shangguan Yunfan revealed a pained expression as he recalled the past. The purple golden eyes can see through many natural treasures and energy fluctuations hidden in the world. It is a unique ability of our clan. However, in the past 100 years, the cultivation of our purple golden eyes has gradually declined because the ancestral altar that supports the cultivation of the entire clan has gradually lost its power. As a result, the cultivation of our clan's purple golden eyes has stagnated. It can't even support the cultivation of a younger generation. In the end, he let out a deep sigh. The ability of the purple golden eyes could not be cultivated through battle techniques or cultivation techniques. It could only be cultivated in the ancestral altar left behind by their ancestors. If the ancestral altar completely lost its power one day, it would be the countdown to the downfall of their clan. At this time, a white-haired old man took over the conversation. He was the second elder of the Shangguan clan, and his status was extremely high. He said in a sincere tone, "Because of this, we have paid a great price to invite a fortune teller to perform a divination on our ancestral altar. However, it was to no avail. If you can solve this problem, no, even if you can find out the reason for the decline of our ancestral altar, our clan will definitely reward you with a great treasure." Obviously, they had been forced to the brink of desperation. Otherwise, given the arrogance of these old fellows, how could they possibly believe a young brat like Lin Shun? Now, they were simply trying everything they could to save a dead horse. Hearing Shangguan Yunfan and the second elder's explanation, Lin Shen's eyes lit up and his heart shook. Could it be that a tribute light ball? Okay, I understand the situation. Since that's the case, let's begin. Lin Shan was in high spirits. He rolled up his sleeves and stood up. The speed at which he agreed made everyone raise their eyebrows. This, Grandmaster, sure. Don't you want to talk about the reward first? Shangguan Yunfan was bewildered. How could there be such a fortune teller? He didn't even ask about the reward before acting. When we find out the cause of the problem, I will naturally mention the reward. Otherwise, talking about the reward now is just a waste of time, isn't it? Lin Shen bent down and picked up one of the attribute light balls. He smiled. Lin Shen's confident appearance made Shangguan Yunfan laugh heartily. Ha ha, Grandmaster Shirleji is indeed an interesting person. Cut the crap. All of you don't move. Let this Grandmaster carefully study the feng shui of this place. Lin Shen did not say anything and picked up all the attribute light balls in the main hall. The quality of the attribute light balls here was very high, and there were quite a few of them. Lin Shen had been thinking about them for a long time. As Lin Shen's strength increased, even if he did not take the initiative to attack, some Battle Soul Realm experts would drop attribute light balls, allowing him to pick up a lot of them. Host has received 6,849 wood energy, 5,899 fire energy, 9,922 cultivation soul essences, 531 mental power, 23,781 chi and blood. His attributes rose in a straight line, causing the corner of Lin Shen's mouth to rise crazily. His actions caused everyone to be even more confused. What was this brat doing? He said that he would help them find the problem with the ancestral altar, but he just randomly grabbed the air around him. What kind of technique is this? Is this how fortune tellers calculate the heavenly cycle and deduce fate? After Lin Shan finished picking up the attribute light balls in the main hall, he continued to pick up the attribute light balls outside the hall. Everyone hurriedly followed. They also want to know what kind of name this divine mathematician, Grandmaster Shirleji, was playing. Host has received 359 mental power for 1,195 cultivation soul essences, 3,125 fire energy, 10,274 chi and blood. Lin Shen picked up everything in his path, like a gust of wind sweeping up fallen leaves. All of the attribute light balls scattered on the ground were collected by him. In this Shangguan family, even the guards were at least at the spirit detecting realm, and even the servants were at the chi refining realm. The attribute light balls that they dropped were of abnormally high quality. Lin Shen's mouth was about to split open from laughing. The entire Shangwan family was simply a huge treasure trove. How big was the Shangwan residence? Even if Lin Shen were to run at full speed, it would still take him an hour to finish running. He had been jogging and picking up items all the way until the sky turned dark, and he still hadn't finished. What is this person looking for? He has already touched more than half of the Shangwan family's residence today. Hey, don't you know? He is the fortune teller that Miss Shangwan Bihan invited. Ha ha. Pooh. I'll believe a beggar like him. Touching the ground randomly. I can do that too. Lower your voice. He is someone that even the second elder thinks highly of. Come on. I'm 100% sure he is a swindler. Miss Bihan is probably too inexperienced and was tricked by this brat. When the youths in the Shangwan family saw Lin Shen randomly touching the ground, they all mocked and ridiculed him. Even Huangfu Qingyu was waiting to see Lin Shen make a fool of himself. The next day, in Shangwan Yunfan's ceremonial hall. Today, the Shangwan family was welcoming a few important guests. They were people that Shangwan Yunfan had to personally welcome. They were people from the city lord's residence. There was also a fortune teller that the city lord's residence had paid a huge price to invite to calculate the heavenly cycle and destiny. Chapter 25. In the Shangwan estate, a certain nimble figure was running from the garden to the courtyard, and finally, he arrived in front of a pavilion and a bathhouse. The group of people behind Lin Shen and Shangwan Bihan quickly said, Master Shirleji, that's our Shangwan estate's female bathhouse. Ah, female bathhouse? I'm looking for a female bathhouse. Oh no, I'm looking for your ancestral altar. What? Brother Yunfan, this is the fortune teller I especially invited for you. He comes from the South Dragon City of the Wasteland and is Master Yan of the 24-star fortune teller organization. Countless forces have been saved by him. This time, I've paid a huge price to invite him. Inside the conference hall, the yellow-robed fatty was excitedly introducing the group to Shangwan Yunfan. Sitting across from them was an old man with a sage-like demeanor and an old man with white eyebrows who had an arrogant expression. Oh, greetings, Master Yin. I'm Shangwan Yunfan of the Shangwan clan. Shangwan Yunfan politely cupped his hands. The old man with white eyebrows arrogantly nodded, not giving him any face at all. I already know about your situation. It's related to the rise and fall of the entire clan. To pry into the direction of such a huge fortune, I'll have to consume a lot of yuan qi. Master Yin raised his voice, causing Shangwan Yunfan to slightly clench his fists. Although there was already a fortune teller in the Shangwan estate, since he was a big shot that he invited, he naturally couldn't treat him unfairly. Moreover, that Master Shirleji might not be able to solve the problem. If he couldn't, he could let Master Yin give it a try. Thinking of this, Shangwan Yunfan smiled and said, Of course, if it wasn't an important matter, we wouldn't look for Master Yin. As long as he can solve the problem, we won't treat him unfairly. Hee, this old man can guarantee that. Mr. Yin, the Shangwan clan still has a lot of resources. You can do whatever you want. The sage-like old man chuckled. He was the chief alchemist of Wanling City, Xingwanha. If that's the case, then the reward. Just as Master Yan was about to mention the reward, a burst of hurried voices broke into the meeting hall. Patriarch Yunfan, good news. Good news. Two of his personal bodyguards rushed into the ceremonial hall and repeatedly congratulated him. Shangwan Yunfan and the other three people looked at him with puzzled and peculiar gazes. Master Shirleji has entered the ancestral altar by himself. The two guards reported excitedly. What kind of happy occasion is entering the ancestral altar? Who brought him in? Shangwan Yunfan frowned. No one brought him in. He found his own way in. What? Shangwan Yunfan's expression suddenly changed. The location of a Shangwan clan's ancestral altar was extremely secretive. Without a core member of the clan leading the way, ordinary people would not be able to easily approach it. Even a war soul stage expert would find it difficult to find its exact location. That great master is now inviting you over to discuss the matter of remuneration. He has already found a reason for the decrease in the ancestral altar's energy. The eyes of the two guards were filled with intense admiration and amazement. They had truly witnessed the various mystical abilities of a fortune teller. The fortune teller was King Awesome. This random search actually led to the secret passage to the ancestral altar from the female bathhouse. Even the people of the Shangwan family didn't know about this passage. It was left behind by their ancestors. Oh, Master, discuss the remuneration? Master Yin caught these words and narrowed his eyes. Really? Everyone, please move a little. I will lead you to the ancestral altar of my clan. We will talk on the way. Shangwan Yunfan said excitedly. Although the location of the ancestral altar couldn't be easily revealed to outsiders, he couldn't care less about it right now. The first thing he needed to do was to repair the ancestral altar. Shangwan family, in a secret passage under the backyard of the Shangwan family's residence. A vast space was opened up underground, and an enormous ancient stone platform was constructed. This was an ancient altar that was dozens of zhang in size. Standing beside the ancient altar, one could clearly feel the extraordinary energy fluctuations within the ancient altar. It was affecting those who were close to it. Many people of the Shangwan family stood behind Lin Shun. There were several hundred of them. There were elders, the younger generation, and the trusted personal guards of the Shangwan family. Everyone was shocked as they looked at Lin Chen's back. This guy actually found a secret passage that even the Shangwan family didn't know about and entered the ancestral altar. In Lin Chen's eyes, the scene of this ancient altar was completely different. In the center of the ancient altar, there was a purplish gold elemental ball floating in the air. This elemental ball was even larger than the one Lin Chen had picked up before, about the size of a fist. So that's how it is. The energy of the ancient altar has been sucked away by this attribute ball. That's why the amount of energy leaking out is so small. Lin Chen looked at the bottom of the ancient altar and found some clues. The ancient altar didn't lose its effect. Instead, it was like a blocked river. This attribute ball was the gate that controlled the opening and closing of the river. Master Shirleji, can you really solve the problem of my Shangwan family's ancestral altar? Several figures appeared on the other side of the ancient altar. They were Shangwan Yunfan and his guests. Seeing Shangwan Yunfan excitedly walking over, Lin Shun smiled confidently. Yes, I think we can talk about the reward now. Brat, you're also a fortune teller. Who would have thought that Master Yin would be the first to stand in front of Lin Shun? He was arrogant and looked down on Lin Shun. Yunfan, who is this? The Shangwan family's second elder, who had been following Lin Shun, asked. Elder, this is the famous fortune teller we asked Mr. Xiaohong to find for us. He's the desolate region's 24 stars fortune teller, Master Yin. Shangwan Yunfan's introduction caused the second elder's expression to turn serious. The 24 stars fortune teller was a mysterious organization of fortune tellers in the desolate region. They were both black and white, and their background wasn't small. Every member of the organization was a fortune teller. Grandmaster Yin coughed very cooperatively. Everyone was in awe of him. This was also a true heavyweight. So it's the 24 stars fortune teller, Master Yin. This old man's eyes were blind. We invited Grandmaster here to help our Shangwan clan deduce the reason why the ancestral altar has lost its power, but my daughter met a benefactor the day before yesterday, who has already found the problem for us. Grandmaster Yin, you can rest for a while. We will not skimp on the cost of inviting Grandmaster. The second elder's tone was very polite. Master Yin raised his eyebrows and glanced at Lin Shun. Benefactor? Could it be this brat? Where did this crooked melon come from? Is he also a fortune teller? Brat, who is your teacher? What organization are you from? Master Yin was very disdainful. The way he spoke was like he was interrogating a junior. If he, Yin Juan, was robbed of his livelihood by a brat, how could he continue to show his face in the desolate region? I'm Lin Shun, the divine fortune teller. People call me Shirleji. My part-time job is picking up girls, arson, alchemy, and acting tough. Being a fortune teller is only my hobby. Acting tough is my main job. Chapter 26. Lin Shun spouted nonsense the moment he opened his mouth. Although no one understood what he was saying, they felt that he was quite powerful, especially when he said that being a fortune teller was only his hobby. Nonsense. What fortune teller Shirleji? I've never heard of him. You say you have the ability to solve the Shangwan clan's problem? Then show me your real ability. Master Yin flicked his sleeves and sneered. Since Master Yin doesn't believe me, why don't you show me your skills? If you're not happy, we can make a bet. Whoever solves this problem will go to the most crowded place in Wanling City to belly dance. How about it? Lin Chen blinked his eyes. His relaxed appearance showed that he didn't put Master Yin in his eyes at all. The yellow-robed fatty and Xing Wanhe looked at each other with interest. Instead, they stood aside and watched. If you want to bet, then bet. But let's make it clear first. If you and I can't completely solve the problem here, then we'll go according to who gives the best results, such as finding the problem or finding the solution. Master Yin was so angry that he laughed. If he didn't suppress this kid today, he would really turn the sky upside down. Okay, then let's invite Master Yin to show us your skills. A bench, a small pair of sunglasses, a small bowl of wine, melon seeds, and fruits. He didn't know when Lin Shan was lying on the bench in the spirit storage ring. He was eating melon seeds and drinking wine with his hands behind his head. He looked like an onlooker who didn't mind if things got out of hand. Seeing this kid's arrogant look, Master Yan's facial muscles twitched a few times. He laughed a few times. Sure enough, the new generation excels the old. Each generation is more unrestrained than the previous one. Lin Shen crossed his legs and whistled, continuing the conversation for Grandmaster Yin. Even Shangwan Bihan couldn't help but laugh. She covered her mouth with her hands and secretly giggled. This Grandmaster Shirleji was really too interesting. Let's see how long you can be arrogant for. Grandmaster Yin leaped into the air and landed on top of the ancient altar. With a swipe of his hand, the rapidly spinning star jade compass appeared in his hand. This was a fortune teller's life tool. Every fortune teller had their own personal life tool. It was used to pry into the secrets of heaven and deduce fate. Other than its owner, no one else could use it. Limitless heaven and earth, heavenly cycle of stars. Grandmaster Yin dripped a drop of his blood essence into the compass, and the needle began to spin rapidly. Dragon's Pass mouth, yin yang cut. The aged palm suddenly sprinkled out a large number of ancient talismans, and a large amount of flames burned in the air. The flames actually formed a path that pointed in a certain direction. Lin Chen narrowed his eyes. The direction the fire was pointing at was the location of the attribute light ball. This method of deduction was as smooth as flowing water. It pleased many people present. Even Lin Shun was slightly paying attention. This was the first time he had seen a real fortune teller make a move. His spiritual power surged out. Grandmaster Yan's spiritual power formed a seal. The burning flame in the air was injected into the needle in the star jade compass. The needle trembled at an extremely fast speed and then suddenly stopped in an extremely short amount of time. A bright light shone. Grandmaster Yan's gaze seemed to pierce through the starry sky as he observed the stagnant needle. It was as if he could see another world from within. At this moment, everyone's body suddenly trembled, and goosebumps appeared all over their bodies. Most people didn't dare to meet Grandmaster Yan's gaze. They seemed to feel the existence of some kind of energy hidden in this world, and this Grandmaster Yin was prying into the traces of this energy. Grandmaster Yin felt a sweetness in his throat, and he almost vomited blood. His cultivation wasn't high enough, and he had tried to pry into too many things. He had almost been devoured by his own cultivation technique and the providence of the Shangwan clan's ancestral altar. Grandmaster Yin, are you all right? Shangwan Yun fan asked with concern. Grandmaster Yin, who was on the ancient altar, raised his hand. The dragon's pass has been blocked, and providence has accumulated without being released. All kinds of energy have been seized by the dragon's pass and scattered throughout the world. Your ancestral altar hasn't lost its power, but it has been blocked or absorbed by something, resulting in the current situation. Grandmaster Yin shook his head. After making a move, he realized that the problem with the ancestral altar was more than 10 times more serious than he had imagined. His cultivation realm wasn't high enough, and he could only vaguely sense the existence of the dragon's pass. However, he couldn't pinpoint its exact location, because the location he had calculated was completely empty. Then, how are we going to find or open the dragon's pass? The elder and Shangwan Yunfan asked anxiously in unison. That's beyond my ability. As far as I know, in the 24-star divination organization, only our leader can calculate the true location of the dragon's pass. However, he's very elusive and isn't someone you can invite. Grandmaster Yin wiped his sweat and walked down from the ancient altar. Hee, it's up to you now, young man. At the very least, this old man has calculated where the problem lies. If you can't surpass this old man, then this old man will win. After all, it's impossible for you to repeat the results of this old man's calculations. Grandmaster Yin looked at Lin Chen mockingly. He didn't think that this young man could reach or surpass his cultivation realm. What's the use of Grandmaster Yan's lousy results? In the end, you don't even have a solution. Isn't that equivalent to wasting your efforts? Lin Chen stretched his body and stood up. He curled his lips and shook his head. Damn it! If you can't come up with a solution later, you'll see how this old man will deal with you. Grandmaster Yin flew into a rage out of humiliation. Huangfu Qingyu sneered and hurriedly echoed. Lin Chen, who do you think you are? You just happened to find a secret passage. How dare you talk to Grandmaster Yin like that? If you don't kneel down and apologize to us later, I, Huangfu Qingyu, will be the first to punish you. Lin Chen glanced at this guy and didn't bother to pay attention to this noisy guy. Leaping into the air, Lin Chen landed on the ancient altar. He walked directly to the place where the purple-gold attribute light ball was suspended. The dazzling purple-gold light was like a small sun. Lin Chen's eyes were almost blinded by it. Fortunately, he was wearing his self-made sunglasses. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to open his eyes. He grabbed the attribute light ball with one hand. The purple-gold light pillar surrounding the Shangwan mansion began to dissipate. A light screen popped up in front of Lin Chen's eyes. The host has received 10,000 points of bloodline energy for the secret technique, Purple Gold Pupil. After taking away the attribute light ball, Lin Chen turned around and looked at everyone before he gracefully bowed and said, Well, it's settled. Sorry for making you laugh. Huh? Everyone's gaze was focused on Lin Chen. All of them were dumbfounded. That was it. That was it. Aren't you a fortune teller? Where's your secret technique of prying into the secrets of heaven? Where's your fortune teller's phylactery? Ha! I already knew that this guy is a complete liar. Now you've finally exposed yourself. Wait for me to personally capture you, you naughty liar. Huangfu Qingyu was the first to react. He laughed wildly, and his eyes were filled with ferocious killing intent. Just as he was about to take down Lin Chen, before the others could question him, the whole underground world began to shake in less than 3 breaths after Lin Chen took out the attribute light ball. Why is there an earthquake? What's going on? Don't panic, everyone. The space of the ancestral altar was personally reinforced by the family heads. An earthquake won't affect it at all. All the elders immediately tried to pacify the panicking younger generation. The second elder and Shangwan Yunfan stared at the ancestral altar. An incomparably familiar and nostalgic energy was surging out from the altar. Lin Chen said with a smile, Sorry for making you laugh. Chapter 27. Boom! Thousands of purple-gold rays of light were tossed into the air, forming waves of golden light that surged in the air. The golden light was dazzling, and a warm and powerful energy was injected into the bodies of all the Shangwan family members present. Some of their pupils turned purple gold like flawless gems. The ancestral altar's energy has been restored. We can use the first, and fourth transformations again. Ha ha ha. We can cultivate the purple gold eyes again this time. All the Shangwan family members fell silent in ecstasy. Shangwan Bihan was the only one who was overjoyed. She saw the young man on the ancient altar lift his sunglasses slightly, and a strange light flashed in her beautiful eyes. Huangfu Qingyu, who had been staring at Shangwan Bihan, saw the admiration in her eyes, and a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Every generation brings forth a new talent. This little brother has hidden his strength well. Even I, old Huang, have misjudged him. The yellow-robed fatty took a deep look at Lin Shun and exclaimed in surprise. This kid's mental strength is not weak, and he vaguely feels like he's about to reach the spiritual realm. He has extraordinary potential. As an alchemist, Xing Wanha also commented and praised him. On the other side, Master Yan's expression was filled with disbelief. How'd he do it? He didn't use any techniques or life items. He just stood on the stage and opened the dragon pass that I worked so hard to calculate. How can there be such a ridiculous thing in the world? In his opinion, even the most powerful fortune teller in the entire spiritual state couldn't predict the rise and fall of a family without using the fortune teller's life item. This kid has a big secret. It seems that I have to report this to the organization. As Master Yin sized up Lin Chen again, Lin Chen also looked at him with a mocking smile. Next, we'll have to enjoy the belly dance of our Master Yin. Master Yan's expression froze. He had almost forgotten about the bet. From the beginning, he didn't think that he would lose to this little brat. Master Shirleji, I hope that you can give me some face on this matter. The second elder came up with an obsequious smile. Get lost. If I give you face, who will give me face? Do you think that making a bet with someone is just bullsh asterisk ting and you don't even have to take off your pants? Lin Shun ignored the second elder and threatened him fiercely. If you dare to say another word of nonsense, I will restore your ancestral altar to its original unusable state. As soon as these words were spoken, the second elder and Shangwan Yunfan woke up from their ecstasy. They saw that Lin Chen didn't seem to be joking at all. Could it be that this young man really controls the lifeline of our ancestral altar? Forget it, forget it. Our Shangwan clan will remain neutral in this matter. After witnessing Lin Chen's unconventional and miraculous divine skill restore the prestige of their Shangwan clan's ancestral altar, it wasn't impossible for him to restore the ancestral altar to its original state. You brat, you my ass. Don't tell me you want to go back on your word? So it turns out that a dignified 24 stars fortune teller is talking nonsense when he makes a bet. Lin Shun deliberately raised his voice so that all the people of the Shangwan clan would look at Grandmaster Yin. Even if Grandmaster Yin had a wide network of connections, the representative of the city lord of Wanling City was here today, and the restored Shangwan clan was also not to be trifled with. If he forcibly broke the contract, he was afraid that it would be used against him in the future, and he might even be expelled from the organization. The questioning and ridiculing gazes made Grandmaster Yin gnash his teeth. Isn't it just a belly dance? When this old man kept his promise, you weren't even born yet. After saying that, he flicked his sleeves and turned to leave. Lin Shun jumped down from the ancestral altar and followed him out with an expression of watching a good show. Seeing this, everyone immediately followed, leaving only the elders guarding the ancestral altar. Shangwan Bihan followed closely behind Lin Shun. For the first time, she, who had always been as elegant as a lotus, was interested in a man of the same age as her. Her beautiful eyes sparkled as she stared at Lin Chen's back. Wanling City, Shangwan Square. This square was built with the financial support of the Shangwan clan. It was very lively and could accommodate 1 million people. Among the people coming and going in the Shangwan Square, an imposing group walked out. At a glance, ordinary people would see that they were the sons of high-ranking officials of the Shangwan clan. Aren't they the people of the Shangwan clan? Why are there so many of them all of a sudden? Hey, look at the young man in front of them. Why is he scratching at the air on the ground? Even the current patriarch and Miss Shangwan Bihan have come out. There are also Lord Huang Yu and Grandmaster Xing Wanhe from the City Lord's Mansion. Are they going to announce something important? Hey, I heard that the situation of the Shangguan clan hasn't been optimistic for the past few decades. Are they going to announce the truth? The prestige of the Shangguan clan was so high that the crowd immediately made a path for them. Some forces were also trying to figure out the Shangguan clan's intentions. The group of people from Shangguan clan arrived at the high platform on the west side of the square. There were 4 figures standing on the high platform. They were Lin Chun, Grandmaster Yin, the yellow-robed fatty, and Shangguan Yinfan. Grandmaster Yin took a deep breath. In any case, he was a fortune teller with a high status and had seen many big scenes. This kind of situation wasn't enough to scare him. He opened his mouth and said in a clear voice, "This king is a fortune teller from the 24 Stars Fortune Teller Organization, Yin Jiwen. Today, I lost a bet with fellow fortune teller Shirleji. I hereby abide by the terms of the bet." When Yin Jiwen revealed his identity, the 100,000 people gathered on the high platform on the west side of the square went into an uproar. Fortune tellers were rarer and more respected than alchemists. The 24 Stars Fortune Teller Organization was the largest fortune teller organization in the wasteland. Today, they actually lost to a fortune teller of the same trade. And what was that bet about? Yin Jiwen was the center of attention. Everyone was looking at him curiously. Yin Jiwen unbuttoned his robe and was even more surprised. His fleshy belly began to tremble, and his entire waist twisted like a snake. The 100,000 people in the square were dumbfounded and stood in place. If this belly dance was performed by a beautiful woman with a voluptuous figure, it would definitely be pleasing to the eyes. But if it was a greasy fatty between middle age and old age doing the dance, this scene was abnormally explosive. Some of the people in the front row below the stage reacted even more violently. "I'm going to vomit. Wretch, the bed is actually this. Puffed. Did you laugh just now? If you laughed, you would have offended the fortune teller." "I didn't. I just thought of something happy. My daughter is always outside and is preparing to go home these few days." "What are you laughing about?" "I also thought of my daughter. She is also preparing to go home." "Your daughter is the same one?" "Yes, the two of you have the same daughter." Chapter 28. After the belly dance, 100,000 people were present. The scene was filled with wails of grief. Some were rolling on the ground while laughing, and some were vomiting. It was a spectacular sight. Yin Jiwen's old face instantly turned extremely pale. His gaze was as sharp as a knife as he locked on a Lin Chun with his raging battle chi. With his strength at the 9th level of the Battle Soul realm, wouldn't it be easy for him to crush a kid who wasn't even at the spirit detecting realm? Shangguan Yinfan immediately stood in front of Lin Chun, blocking him. With a wave of his hand, the battle chi that had almost turned into a beam of light was dispersed. No matter what, today's Lin Chun was the savior of the Shangguan clan. Even if he offended this 24 Stars fortune teller, he still had to stand on his side. Grandmaster Yin, there's no need to be so calculative with a junior, right? Speaking of which, I haven't invited you to taste our Myriad Spirit City specialty, the Sunflower Spirit Wine. Come, I'll treat you to a feast at the City Lord's Mansion." The yellow-robed fatty immediately came out to smooth things over with a face full of smiles. Only then did Yin Jiwen's expression soften. With a cold smile, he flicked his sleeves, put on his robe, and left. Brother Yinfan, you've picked up a treasure this time with this young man. I'll go and appease the old man first. I'll chat with you when I have time." The yellow-robed fatty secretly transmitted his voice to Shangguan Yinfan. The two of them had been friends for many years. After exchanging glances, they immediately understood each other. After the two of them left, Shangguan Yinfan smiled at Lin Chun. "Grandmaster Shirleji, are you satisfied with this result? It's SOSO. I can handle him myself. However, if you hadn't stood up just now, your Shangguan clan's ancestral altar would have immediately returned to its original state." The corner of Lin Chen's mouth curved into a dangerous smile. Shangguan Yinfan felt that this young man's origin was extremely mysterious. He didn't even have the cultivation of a spirit-connecting realm, Yet he dared to say that he could handle a 9th-level Battle Soul Realm cultivator? If someone said that he didn't have any trump cards, even a ghost wouldn't believe it. Don't worry, Grandmaster Shirleji. We will remember the kindness you've shown our Shangwan clan. We're definitely not heartless people. Shangwan Yunfan's tone was sincere. This scene was different in the eyes of others. The patriarch of the Shangwan clan was actually so polite to a youngster. Could it be that he was the mysterious person who made Grandmaster Yin lose the bet? Cut the crap. We were interrupted earlier. Now let's talk about the reward. If you lose even a single piece, your ancestral altar will be closed on the same day it is restored. Lin Chun waved his hand. This made Shangwan Yunfan sweat profusely. How could this brat be as cunning as an old fox? How could he be a teenager? Grandmaster, this way please. Let's go back to the mansion and talk about the reward. As Shangwan Yunfan led the crowd away, many people cast curious gazes on Lin Chun. In the ceremonial hall of the main hall of the Shangwan mansion, the atmosphere in the hall was heavy. Many elders were gathered here. What? His reward is the purple golden pupils cultivation manual of our Shangwan clan? Impossible. This is the inheritance passed down by our ancestors. It can only be cultivated by the descendants and can never be passed down to outsiders. But what does he want this cultivation manual for? Without the bloodline of our Shangwan clan, he can't cultivate it. After Lin Chun returned to the Shangwan mansion, he immediately found a secret room to enter seclusion. The reward he gave was also very simple. It was the complete set of the purple golden pupils cultivation manual of the Shangwan clan. Apart from that, he also asked for some medicinal ingredients needed to refine medicine. For the Shangwan clan, this was nothing. If we don't follow the teachings of our ancestors, we will be betraying our masters. But this brat is mysterious and unfathomable. If he closes our ancestral altar, then let's go all the way. Give him some compensation. If he doesn't know what's good for him, then kill him. No. How can our Shangwan clan be a bandit? Moreover, this brat hasn't revealed his strength yet. If we attack him, we might have to pay a heavy price. We can't throw away the teachings of our ancestors. Don't tell me that we are going to abandon our entire clan just to stick to the rules. While the elders were arguing, Shangwan Yunfan opened his mouth. Elders, don't argue anymore. We must follow the teachings of our ancestors, but we must also repay the kindness shown to us. I will think of a foolproof plan to protect the greatest interests of both sides. As soon as these words were spoken, all the elders looked at Shangwan Yunfan in amazement. Could there be a win-win solution in this situation? This matter ends here. Tonight, I will talk to Great Master Shi. After saying this, Shangwan Yunfan left the hall. Only the second elder's eyes flashed with a smile. So that's how it is. There is indeed a win-win solution. In the rear courtyard of the Shangwan mansion, inside a secret room, a father and daughter pair stood there. They were Shangwan Yunfan and Shangwan Bihan. Father, why did you suddenly call me to Big Brother Lin Chen's place? Shangwan Bihan asked curiously. Shangwan Yunfan smiled. Oh, you called him Big Brother so quickly. Shangwan Bihan's pretty face reddened. She pouted playfully, Father. Bihan, Father wants to ask you, what do you think of this young man? Hearing this question, Shangwan Bihan was startled. Her face reddened and she smiled. He is very special. He is more special than any man Bihan has ever met. His actions are unruly, but he is also unique. Since you have a good impression of this boy, Father has decided to betroth you to him and let him become a member of our Shangwan mansion. What do you think? When Shangwan Yunfan was testing his daughter, her expression suddenly changed. Father, how can you do this? What if you cause trouble to Big Brother Lin Chen? Moreover, you didn't ask Bihan. How can you decide on your own? Bihan, Father is also riding a tiger and can't get off. This little guy opened his mouth and asked for our Shangwan family's purple golden pupils cultivation manual. It's not like you don't know the teachings of our ancestors. This thing is our lifeline. Even if the family is destroyed, it can't be leaked. Shangwan Yunfan sighed deeply. Shangwan Bihan's pretty face reddened. She stomped her feet in anger. But you can't use Bihan's lifelong happiness as a bargaining chip. Father, I'm really angry. Shangwan Bihan turned and left. Shangwan Yinfan didn't stop her and only sighed. Inside the secluded cultivation room. Boom! A five-colored battle chi surged out of Lin Chen's body. It was so powerful that it could topple mountains and overturn seas. It shook the room until it finally returned to his body. I didn't think that the attribute light ball I picked up in the Shangwan mansion would allow me to step into the spirit-detecting realm in one go. When he opened his eyes, there was a burst of light in them. Spirit-detecting realm, battle chi is psychic. Can see the 5 viscera and 6 bowels of the martial artist body. Lin Shen opened the system, and a status bar popped up before his eyes. Host, Lin Shen Cultivation. First level of the Spirit Detecting Realm Limit. 10641 Tiger Force. Chi and Blood. 751,734 points. Battle Chi Essence. 293,592 points. Spiritual Power. 13,158 points. Cultivation Soul Essence. 10,458 points. Mental Cultivation Method. Primal Chaos 5 Spirit Technique, 16%, Cultivation Method, Myriad Lightning 1000 June Sword Technique, Heavenly Spirit Pill Transformation Technique, True Water Origin Technique, 15%, Soul Seizing Spear Manual, Demonic War 4 Kings Seal, Taishur Holy Scripture, 2%. Owned Items, Secret Manual 7-Star Soul Seizing Spear Bloodline Energy, Azure Dragon Bloodline, 45 points, Purple Golden Pupil Bloodline, 10,000 points, Characteristic Rune. Level 1 Sluggish Rune, 1175 points of Rune Energy, Elemental Energy, 41,581 points of Fire, 48,212 points of Earth, 46,715 points of Wood, 47,872 points of Metal, 52,188 points of Water. The more elemental energy I collect, the stronger the Primal Chaos 5 Spirit Technique will increase my mental cultivation method. My pure strength has also reached 10,000 Tiger Force. If I encounter a Battle Soul Realm expert, I will be able to wrestle with him even without using the Sluggish Rune. Lin Shun circulated his mental cultivation method and found that his battle chi recovery speed had increased by more than 70%. Just as Lin Shun was feeling satisfied with this upgrade, there was a knock on the door of the secret room. Master Sure, we've already come to an agreement on the matter of remuneration. Is it convenient now? Chapter 29. Oh, is it Shangwan Yinfan? Lin Shun withdrew his aura and calmly opened the door. Of course it's convenient. Master Yinfan, please come in. The two sat in the secret room. Shangwan Yinfan pondered for a moment and finally opened his mouth. Master Shirluji, after our family's discussion, the elders would rather the ancestral altar be closed again than hand over the cultivation manual of purple golden pupils. Lin Chen's expression instantly turned cold when Shangwan Yunfan opened his mouth. He said indifferently, "So you're saying that we're parting ways?" "No, there's another way to solve this matter." Shangwan Yunfan's expression suddenly became much more sincere as he spoke word by word. "Grandmaster Sure, no. Little friend Lin Shun, please arrange a marriage between you and my daughter. In this way, you can be considered half a member of the Shangwan clan. In this way, if I teach you the Purple Golden Pupils technique, you will be able to obtain the Purple Golden Pupils technique. No one in the family will object to it." This sudden request made Lin Chun dumbfounded. "Huh? Engagement? What kind of trick is this? You want me to marry Shangwan Bihan to get the cultivation manual of Purple Golden Pupils? Is there such a good thing in this world? Buy one, get one free?" Shangwan Bihan's appearance, temperament, figure, cultivation, temperament, and aptitude were all top-notch. She was a top-notch beauty who had reached the 8th layer of the spirit-detecting realm before the age of 20. In the outside world, many young geniuses would throw themselves at her, not to mention the cultivation manual of Purple Golden Pupils. Without the Shangwan family's bloodline, it was impossible to cultivate purple golden pupils. However, the cultivation manual still couldn't be spread out. If it was obtained by some experts, even if they couldn't cultivate it, they could still pry into the secrets of the purple golden pupils. This would cause unimaginable damage to the Shangguan family. No, although I, Lin Chun, like beautiful women, you want me to become your son-in-law in this way? I'd rather not. I'm a person who likes freedom and doesn't want any restrictions. If you insist on not giving it to me, then we'll have to part ways. Lin Chun decisively shook his head and stood up. His face gradually turned cold. Wait a minute. Master Shi, you've misunderstood me. The engagement I mentioned was just a cover. Shangguan Yinfan hurriedly revealed his real purpose. The engagement is just to give us a legitimate reason to get the purple golden pupils secret manual. On the day of the engagement, I, Shangguan Yinfan, promised to prepare the divorce papers for you that very night. After you leave my Shangguan family for a few years, I will announce the divorce papers. At that time, the secret manual will be in your hands, and the elders will have nothing to say. Shangguan Yunfan's plan had indeed caused Lin Chun to be somewhat moved. But won't this affect Miss Shangguan Bihan's reputation too much? Lin Chun hesitated. Sigh. Although the reputation will definitely be affected, there is no other way. Shangguan Yinfan pretended to be very sad as he sighed. But in his heart, he was thinking, Brat, if you become my son-in-law, you won't be affected. I agree with this method, but I hope that the Shangguan family can keep their promise. If they do something else after the engagement, I'm afraid that the Shangguan family will keep their promise. Both of us will definitely end up in mutual destruction. Lin Chen's tone was soft yet firm. Of course, of course. Shangguan Yinfan nodded his head sincerely. Also, I want 2 copies of the divorce papers. Who knows if you'll go back on your word. Just give me the second copy as a guarantee. Shangguan Mansion, in a secret room under the ancestral altar. Both sides had already set the engagement and signed the divorce papers in advance. With the seal of the Shangguan family, Lin Chun was not afraid that they would go back on their word. This is the Purple Golden Pupils secret manual of the Shangguan family. You need to read it with your spiritual power to learn the cultivation method. Shangguan Yinfan took out 5 pitch-black iron sheets from 5 dusty counters and handed them to Lin Chun solemnly. Host has obtained the Purple Golden Pupils secret manual. The system has recorded it. Activating the Purple Golden Pupils secret manual requires 10,000 soul essences and 500 Purple Golden Pupils bloodline power to reach the beginner level. The moment Lin Chun received the 5 pitch-black iron sheets, the system's light screen immediately popped up. Lin Chun, since you are half a member of the Shangguan family on the surface, I would like to trouble you to attend a grand event with me in 3 days. The Treasure Appraisal Conference in the Wanling City. Shangguan Yunfan's tone had softened a lot after the 2 sides exchanged the deal. He laughed heartily. Oh, Treasure Appraisal Conference? Lin Chun was curious. The Treasure Appraisal Conference is a grand event held by the appraisers in our field. Since ancient times, the history of martial arts has never declined. This world has given birth to too many strange and mysterious things. Ordinary people and ordinary experts can't completely distinguish them. This requires people with special means to appraise these strange things. In the future, they will become appraisers. Speaking of this, Shangguan Yunfan's eyebrows were filled with an instinctive arrogance. He smiled and said, Our Shangguan family is the largest and best appraiser family in the Wanling City. Even the whole wasteland, we are one of the best. Lin Chun suddenly understood. No wonder the Shangguan family was so rich and had so many experts. It turned out that they had such a background. It seems that I have to go to this treasure appraisal conference. The corners of Lin Chen's mouth faintly rose. After explaining the rules and origins of the treasure appraisal conference to Lin Chun, the 2 parted ways in the secret chamber of the ancestral altar. The next day, Shangguan Yinfan publicly announced the engagement of Lin Chun and Shangguan Bihan, which set off an unprecedented storm in the Wanling City. All the elders had nothing to say about Lin Chen's engagement. This boy had extraordinary potential. If he could become a member of the Shangwan family, it would be a joyous occasion. It would be a marriage on top of a debt of gratitude. In this way, it was not a bad thing to give him the cultivation manual of the purple golden pupils. As the center of attention, Lin Shun was immersed in closed-door cultivation. This time, he was going to cultivate the newly acquired purple golden pupils. Inside the secret chamber, Lin Shun withdrew his mental strength. He had just finished reading all the cultivation tips and records of the purple golden pupils. The purple golden pupils are divided into 6 major realms: insight into the smallest detail, fiery eyes, dewdrops from chi, purple lightning, materialization from nothingness, and twin golden pupils. This was the first time Lin Shun had come into contact with a high-level appraisal secret technique. He could not help but sigh at the many miraculous aspects of the purple golden pupils. I've completed the introductory cultivation. System, let me absorb 1,000 bloodline points first. System will inject 1,000 purple golden pupils bloodline points into the host. A flow of cold energy poured down from the top of his head, shuttling through the blood in Lin Chen's entire body. He shivered, then immediately activated the meridian routes and the spells recorded by the purple gold pupil to gather the power of his bloodline. This kind of infusion of bloodline energy allowed Lin Chun to directly absorb the power of his bloodline instead of exchanging his blood. It was the same principle as when he absorbed the Azure Dragon bloodline. Otherwise, Lin Chen's body, which had 2 different bloodlines, would have exploded and died. After the purple golden pupil's bloodline merged with his body, the energy began to condense in Lin Chen's eyes, which were covered with a layer of light purple brilliance. Chapter 30. Through the faint purple light in his eyes, Lin Chen saw a completely different world. The tiny dust particles in the secret chamber became extremely clear. Even the stitches on his clothes were as clear as the lines on his palm. So this is the first realm, insight to the smallest detail. System, come again. Absorb all the bloodline energy. Lin Chen shut himself in and focused on cultivating the purple gold eyes. After consuming the cultivation technique's soul essence, the system had already recorded all the cultivation secrets in his mind. He only needed to absorb the bloodline energy. That afternoon, Lin Chen saw many thin threads of spiritual energy in the air. In the past, he had relied on his battle chi to sense the spiritual energy in the air. Now, he could directly see it. This was the second realm, fiery eyes. On the afternoon of the second day, the thin threads of spiritual energy expanded again and turned into rows of wriggling water droplets. The third realm, gazing. On the night of the third day, the pitch-black void became purple in Lin Chen's eyes. He could even faintly see some spatial patterns in the air. The fourth realm, purple lightning generation. Lin Chen absorbed 10,000 points of bloodline energy and reached the fourth realm. Using the fourth realm, purple lightning generation, even though Lin Chen had the green tier mental cultivation technique, he could not use it too often. Otherwise, he would exhaust too much of his battle chi and would be at a disadvantage in battle. In fact, he could only reach the fourth realm by relying on his bloodline energy. The fifth realm, creation from nothingness, and the sixth realm, twin golden eyes, required him to rely on his own comprehension and cultivation. On the morning of the fourth day, the day of the treasure appraisal conference, the entire Shangwan residence was bustling with activity. The treasure appraisal conference was a significant event for any appraiser. It was just like the alchemy conference held by the alchemists. Lin Chen, you're finally here. In the main hall, seeing Lin Chen's arrival, Shangwan Yinfan was in high spirits. Lin Chen looked around. Today, the people of the Shangwan residence all looked strong. After dozens of years, the Shangwan family was able to cultivate the purple golden pupils again after the ancestral altar was opened. Their realms had all improved. After cultivating the purple gold pupils, Lin Shan was able to roughly see through Shangwan Yunfan's cultivation at first glance. Shangwan Yunfan was at the Earth realm, but Shangwan Yunfan had concealed his actual cultivation level. After becoming Shangwan Bihan's fiancée, many of the younger generation of the Shangwan family stared at Lin Shun with envy and jealousy. After exchanging some pleasantries with Shangwan Yunfan and the several elders, Lin Shun saw Shangwan Bihan in the corner of the crowd, as well as the gray-robed old servant who was her personal bodyguard. Lin Shun rubbed his nose and walked over. No matter what, he was now engaged to her. In the eyes of outsiders, he still had to put on an act. Sitting beside Shangwan Bihan, she smiled calmly and said in a low voice, "Big brother Lin Shun, you don't have to be so reserved. I already know the whole story." Lin Shun paused for a moment, then nodded apologetically. "I'm sorry. I made a decision with your father without your consent. Miss Shangwan Bihan, don't worry. I won't do anything indecent to you in the name of being engaged. No, I understand my father's decision. He has doted on me since I was young, but he is also the patriarch of the Shangwan family. He can't give up the interests of the family for personal reasons." Shangwan Bihan was extremely intelligent and had a deep sense of righteousness. She didn't seem to be entangled in this matter. Seeing Lin Shun and Shangwan Bihan getting along so well, the elders who were secretly observing couldn't help but nod with gratification. This time, the Shangwan family had selected over 100 outstanding young talents to observe, as well as 5 elders. The current patriarch was also present. Everyone set off for the treasure appraisal hall of Myriad Spirit City, which was located not far from the City Lord Mansion. As soon as Lin Xian and his group arrived, a large number of people entered the hall one after another. There were several forces who had arrived earlier than the Shangwan family. "Brother Yunfan, I haven't seen you for a long time. I miss you a lot. I didn't expect your little girl to bring back a gold brick." Among the group of people who had yet to enter the hall, several leaders came up to Shangwan Yunfan and cupped their fists with a fake smile. "This, Brother Ning, I trust you have been well since we last met." Shangwan Yunfan smiled bitterly and cupped his fists. "It's the Huangfu family." Previously, when the family's ancestral altar was restored, the two families had been trying to set me up to marry cousin Qingyu. It seems that they hate my father because of the engagement. Shangwan Bihan blushed and whispered to Lin Shun, making Lin Shun suddenly realize what had happened to Huangfu Qingyu. It turned out that his engagement had robbed them of their good fortune. Just as the two families were in a delicate situation, another group of people came over. "Ha ha ha! Brother Yunfan, this time your Shangwan family's ancestral altar has been restored. I'm afraid you will be able to suppress all the heroes." Bold laughter spread all around. It was the people of the City Lord Mansion. Xing Wanhe and the fatty from before were also there. The fatty in the yellow robe came up and said to Lin Shan with a smile, "This great master sure has really surpassed his master. After this treasure appraisal conference, I sincerely invite you to be a guest in the City Lord Mansion. This is an invitation from our City Lord. Please come." The fatty in the yellow robe's words made all the forces present in disbelief and shock. That mysterious City Lord had actually taken the initiative to invite someone to be a guest. Is the divine mathematician Shirlaji, who has been popular recently. Even the City Lord of the Wanling City has been alarmed. Is this kid so important? Everyone kept an eye on Lin Shun. "Oh, okay, I will go." Lin Shun was confused by the shocked gazes cast at him. Was it so rare for the City Lord to invite this handsome guy? It was as if they had discovered a new continent. I heard that the Nangong family is also here. It seems like there will be a good show to watch today's treasure appraisal conference. Brother Yunfan, I will go in first. There's still many old friends inside." The fatty in the yellow robe looked deeply at Lin Shun before he called out to Shangwan Yunfan and walked into the conference hall. Why are they so surprised? Lin Shun tilted his head and asked Shangwan Bihan curiously. "Prince Lin Shun, don't you know? The City Lord of the Wanling City is a devastatingly beautiful woman. It is said that those who have seen her beauty are all amazed by her beauty. She is like a fairy who has descended to the mortal world." Shangwan Bihan explained patiently. Her beautiful eyes were like ripples as she secretly observed Lin Chen's expression. "So she is a great beauty." Lin Chen's interest was greatly piqued. Shangwan Bihan gritted her teeth and her beautiful eyes flickered. I didn't expect Lin Chun to be favored by the city lord. TSK, TSK, TSK. Let's go in too. Shangwan Yin fan exclaimed in surprise. He then led the entire Shangwan family into the conference hall. After Lin Chun and the others entered, the silver-robed people who were secretly spying on them also entered. The leader of the black-robed people was Grandmaster Yin, who had previously been defeated by Lin Chun. Brat, this time, this old man is determined to obtain the secret of a fortune teller. The conference hall was divided into 3 levels. The seats were spread out in a fan shape and could accommodate more than 10,000 people. There were Battle Soul Realm experts guarding the sides. After entering the conference hall, Shangwan Bahan introduced Lin Chun to each of the forces present. The Nangong family of the Wasteland was on par with the Shangwan family when it came to appraising treasures. The Wandering Treasure Appraisal Organization of Green Moon City and the Wasteland's Earth Spirit sect were also present. They were all influential figures in the Wasteland. Even those who could enter the conference hall were either rich or respectable. Or those who could enter the Treasure Appraisal Conference were all famous figures in the Wasteland. Lin Chun listened with great interest, as it was his first time participating in such a grand event. This kind of grand event was not something that Lin Chun could come into contact with in the Divine Martial Sect. Chapter 31. Lin Chun was seated in the highest VIP seat. He looked at the 10-meter-tall crystal counter that was pushed out by the elder with great interest. Inside the counter, there were more than 10 pieces of clear blue crystal ores. This is the treasure for the first round of appraisal, Mystic Water, Oregon. The sect it is entrusted to hopes to obtain the highest quality portion of this batch of Mystic Water or to forge 10 third-grade weapons. One of them only needs to be 7 zhong in size. The rest of the Mystic Water will belong to the appraiser. Everyone, please appraise it. A portion of the treasure entrusted to the appraiser would belong to the appraiser. This was the unspoken rule in the field. Of course, they could also use other generous rewards to replace it. Every appraiser could be related to a faction. In order to obtain the rewards from the entrusting party, they would usually appraise the best portion of the treasure. This was because no appraiser could be 100% sure that they were the only ones who could appraise the highest quality. It was like if one of the appraiser factions saw the best quality of the treasure but did not point it out to the entrusting party. Instead, they gave an answer that was not the best. Under such circumstances, the competitor could also see the best quality of the treasure and give an answer that was better than the former. Then, the reward would belong to the latter. This was the true meaning of the Treasure Appraisal Convention. In order to prevent the appraiser faction from seeing through the quality of the treasure and getting rich silently, there would be several appraiser factions or factions in the Treasure Appraisal Convention. As soon as the elder finished speaking, 2 young men raised their hands. Number 13 Mystic Water, or has the highest quality. Number 15 Mystic Water, or has the highest quality. The 2 young appraisers gave different answers. The old man smiled faintly. Then, let us invite the 2 appraisers to consecrate number 2 crystal. Please consecrate it without damaging the appraisal crystal. Every appraiser had a chance to consecrate the treasure, unveiling its mysterious veil. The 2 appraisers displayed their abilities. One of them used a water-type mental cultivation technique, while the other used an appraisal chant. They used their mental power to draw out the energy from the mystic water, or boom, 2 light pillars rose up, and dense water-type energy filled the entire stage. The 2 mystic water ores were glowing with their hidden essence. However, it was obvious that the water-type energy from number 13 Mystic Water ore was superior. Consecration was a tough skill for an appraiser. Due to the uniqueness of the Treasure Appraisal Convention, no one could prove whether an appraiser's judgment was accurate or not. While being able to distinguish and appraise the hidden qualities and opportunities of various rare treasures, one must also possess the means to bring out the power hidden within them. This was the Treasure Appraisal Consecration, This scene made Lin Chen's eyes widen. This was because after the mystic water concentrate was consecrated, it dropped a series of blue light balls. All of them contained pure water elemental energy. It's a pity that I can't directly rush up to pick up these attribute light balls. Otherwise, my primordial water fusion technique would be able to advance another step. Lin Chun lamented inwardly as he continued to observe the convention. After that, a few more appraisers went up to the stage to consecrate the other black water concentrates. Although the energy they produced was higher than the previous number 15 black water concentrate, it was slightly inferior to number 13. In the end, the young appraiser who appraised mystic water, or number 13, won. Regarding this, the appraisers on the stage didn't move at all. Some of them were even chatting cheerfully and didn't take the scene seriously at all. This was just the warm-up for the youngsters to show off their skills. The real highlight of the treasure appraisal convention was yet to come. These are the 5 damaged weapons found in the recently discovered ruins of destruction. Some of them are suspected to be of the 4th grade. Appraisers, please identify the weapons that are most likely to be repaired. Reward: 3 top-grade, 3rd-grade elixirs. Many of the younger generation began to participate in the intense competition. This allowed the older generation to see the potential of the new generation. These are the 7 damaged mental cultivation techniques unearthed in ancient times. It is said that only one of them has a mental cultivation technique that can be cultivated. Everyone, please appraise the cultivation technique in the damaged mental cultivation technique. Reward: 2 top-grade, 3rd-grade elixirs that can recover mental strength, and 1 top-grade, green-grade combat skill. The treasure appraisal convention gradually progressed to the end. Lin Chan watched with great interest, just as he couldn't resist the urge to try out the newly cultivated purple golden eyes. The young lady's cold voice resounded throughout the entire venue. The 2nd damaged mental cultivation technique has a cultivation technique that can be cultivated. Everyone was stunned and looked toward the direction of the voice. The VIP seats belonged to the Nangong family. It was said that the Nangong family was on par with the Shangwan family. However, this ranking was from 50 years ago. The Shangwan family had just recovered their ancestral altar. It was still uncertain who was superior and who was inferior. As soon as she finished speaking, a ray of mental energy shot out from the VIP room and entered the 2nd book of the 7 damaged ancient books on the crystal counter. Instantly, a row of domineering words appeared on the book. Battle Dragon Art. Low-grade green mental cultivation technique. Tempers battle aura and nurtures the power of a dragon. Once struck out, it would be as if a battle dragon soared into the sky. Hiss! The entire venue was filled with the sound of people sucking in cold air. A low-grade green mental cultivation technique was appraised in one go. The Nangong family was indeed terrifying. This mental cultivation technique is damaged and incomplete. It is still lacking compared to a genuine green mental cultivation technique. However, this action is enough to show that the Nangong family has already started to provoke us. Shangwan Yunfan narrowed his eyes. Since the other party had already made a move, they had to respond. Everyone was looking forward to the next confrontation between the 2 families after a few decades. A few days ago, the entrusted person risked his life to find 3 corpses of vicious beasts in the wasteland's most dangerous 10,000 beast mountain range. The entrusted person hopes to appraise these corpses and see which one is more suitable to be used to refine a bone sculpting pill. If the appraisal results are perfect, the entrusted person will gift one of the corpses to the appraiser. 3 corpses of huge beasts appeared on the stage. The old man decisively looked toward the highest VIP level. These 3 corpses of vicious beasts were existences that had broken through the 4th rank. They were comparable to Earth Realm experts. Only the top-notch appraiser clans were qualified to participate in a competition of this level. Bihan, it's your turn. Shangwan Yunfan gave his daughter a meaningful look. Shangwan Bihan nodded and stood up. Her eyes that were as bright as gemstones were covered with a purple-gold color. It's the 2nd level, fiery eyes. Lin Shin recognized Shangwan Bihan's level and was secretly amazed. Shangwan Bihan was only 20 years old. When she was born, her family's ancestral altar was already close to closing. She was able to cultivate to the fiery eyes level by relying on her own efforts and talent. The corpse of vicious beast number 3 has the ability to preserve its own blood and chi. It is also worth refining. During the refining process, the blood essence extracted can reach 80% or more. It is best if it can be used to refine a high-grade pill that can replenish the marrow and bones. It can play a crucial role in a life or death situation. Shangwan Bihan's elegant and refined voice was like the sound of nature, spreading throughout the entire venue. As his voice trailed off, a hazy purple light lingered and seeped into ferocious beast number 3's body. The ferocious beast's body immediately glowed with the sound of tides, and its majestic blood energy swept across the entire place like a raging wave. Chapter 32. The blood chi fluctuations that were like raging waves and hurricanes swept through the entire venue with a brutal and desolate aura, frightening many people. They thought that the ferocious, vicious beast on the platform had been revived. What a majestic aura! Who would have thought that a dead, vicious beast could leave behind such a terrifying energy? We couldn't appraise it at all with our previous methods. The Shangwan family is the signature family of Myriad Spirit City after all. Many forces were amazed. Even some of the older generation of appraisers couldn't find any clues about vicious beast number 3's corpse. They were very surprised and praised Shangwan Bihan's performance. It seems that the Shangwan family's foundation hasn't been shaken. A few years ago, it was said that the Shangwan family seemed to have reached a bottleneck in their cultivation. So it was all just a rumor. Miss Shangwan Bihan has such a level at such a young age. She might even surpass the current family head. Many of the rumors in the outside world were dispelled at this moment. The disciples of the Shangwan family were also very excited. Their generation didn't have the assistance of the ancestral altar, so the first layer was their limit. Her control of the second layer is already very fine. I'm afraid she will enter the third layer in a short time. Lin Chen secretly commented, but the situation in the venue suddenly changed. Is this the standard of a Shangwan family? I gave you a chance to judge first, but it's just SOSO. The young girl's cold and arrogant attitude attracted the attention of everyone present. Too cold. Icy blue rays of light intertwined in the void. The young girl left the VIP room and landed on the stage like a dragonfly skimming the water. She had long hair that reached her waist and looked like she was 20 years old. Her beautiful, icy blue eyes were amazing, and she was cold and aloof. Her eyebrows were like a spring mountain painted with ink, and her skin was as smooth as jade. She was a complete ice beauty. Is this little girl the peerless genius of the Nangong family that appears once in 1,000 years? Nangong Yuyan? The appearance of a beauty attracted countless curiosity and surprise. She walked lightly, her slender fingers pressing against the corpse of vicious beast number 1, and began to consecrate it. This was a python-like vicious beast. The preservation and energy of this vicious beast corpse was not as good as the one Shangwan Bihan had chosen. Her jade fingers touched it, and a dozen or so threads of spiritual energy penetrated into the vicious beast's corpse. A majestic vitality began to quietly grow. Vitality? Some of the young appraisers in the hall were shocked. How could a dead, ferocious beast possess such vitality? This is the body of the Inyang mysterious, demonic python. Its bloodline was extremely domineering when it was alive. If you use its bloodline to refine a pill, you can obtain the amazing recovery effect of the mysterious demonic python. Even if you lose a limb or a leg, your wound will heal quickly. It will guarantee the best treatment. She pulled her finger away, and a small part of the consecrated black demon python's bloodline was extracted. It turned into a fist-sized dark red blood ball that jumped on the beautiful woman's finger. Every time the blood front pulsed, a powerful life force fluctuation would appear. although the energy fluctuations were similar to the vicious beast corpse that Shangguan Bihan had appraised. In the eyes of the masters present, the black demon python's life force was superior. A War Soul Realm guard walked up to the stage and whispered a few words into the white-haired old man's ear before immediately retreating. The white-haired old man immediately announced with a smile. After a discussion, our consignors have unanimously chosen Dire Beast number 1. Mwah! The whole place was in an uproar. The Shangguan clan had lost the first battle. They had lost the first battle with the Nangong clan. Bihan, don't be discouraged. You've already done very well. Shangguan Yinfan comforted his daughter. The latter gritted her teeth, feeling somewhat unwilling. In terms of talent, she was definitely not inferior to Nangong Yuyan. Interesting. Lin Shen was somewhat excited as he stared at the stage. After all the rare treasures were consecrated by the appraisers, these rare treasures had also dropped a lot of attribute light balls. If not for the fact that the convention was still ongoing, Lin Shan would have rushed up and picked them up by himself. His attributes would have soared once again. Since the other party has made a move, we can't let others see us as a joke. Shangguan Yinfan stood up and stood in the front row of the VIP room. A purple light flickered in his eyes. Shangguan Yinfan, who had personally made a move, immediately turned the tables in the second round. However, right after that, other powers also made their moves. For example, the Huangfu family and the Earth Spirit sect were old powers. This caused the confrontation between the two families to become even more intense. Both sides had their own victories and losses. After half a day, the Treasure Appraisal Convention was nearing its end. The battle between the Shangguan family and the Nangong family was exceptionally intense. In this field, reputation was extremely important. A top-notch appraiser power would attract even more experts, bringing an unimaginable amount of resources to the power. Therefore, they could give way to the other party in any situation, but not in the Treasure Appraisal Convention. What a terrifying battle. I didn't even get to see what the rare treasures were on the stage, and the other two families had already finished appraising them. Both sides are already at 7, right? What an unyielding competition. The young appraiser outside the stage swallowed his saliva and broke out in cold sweat. Inside the VIP room, they seemed to know the weakness of our purple golden eyes. The few elders were panting heavily. After overusing their purple golden eyes, they had expended a lot of energy. All of them looked at each other with shock and surprise. We could barely keep up with them when the few of us worked together. They definitely still have some strength left. Moreover, they're very clear about the weakness of our purple golden eyes. Are we being targeted? There shouldn't be any traitors in our Shangguan family. Could it be? Just as Shangguan Yinfan thought about it, Lin Chun, who was chewing on a fruit, continued the conversation. It should be the doing of Huangfu Qingyu from before. Shangguan Yinfan helplessly smiled bitterly. This time, he had invited the wolf into the house. He didn't expect this brat to have such a scheme when sneaking into their Shangguan family. At this time, the white-haired old man on the stage said loudly, "Today is the last round of the Treasure Appraisal Convention. Everyone, please wait for a moment." Boom! A strong hurricane surged forward. Dozens of figures strangely appeared around the stage, tightly protecting the four sides of the stage to prevent anyone from ruining it. These were all experts of the Battle Soul realm. Following that, a crystal counter descended from the sky. Inside it were 4 strange and mysterious treasures. The first item was an incomplete ancient saber. The blade was curved like a crescent moon, the hilt was light purple, and the blade was inlaid with 9 purple pearls. The second item was an ancient book that had been sealed for a long time. It was rusty and tattered. The third item was actually the forearm bone of a human arm. It was sparkling and translucent like jade, without a trace of dust. It was placed in the counter like a work of art. The fourth item was a fist-sized green bead. Aside from emitting a faint light, it didn't seem to have anything special about it. When the young appraisers in the front row of the venue saw these 4 strange treasures, they couldn't see through their secrets at all. Even if they fell on the side of the road, they wouldn't think that they were treasures. However, the appearance of these 4 items made everyone in the VIP room quiet down. Even Lin Chun, upon seeing the 4 rare treasures, saw a completely different scene from the others. Chapter 33. Everyone, please appraise which of these 4 treasures is the most precious and bless them. As for the reward, it's not convenient for me to announce it publicly. If any appraisers are willing, please come up one by one. I will inform you about the reward in private. The white-haired elder on the high platform stroked his beard and smiled. His gaze swept across the few VIP rooms. This time, it was different from the past. Many appraisers fell into silence. Since no one is coming, this old man will go first. In less than 10 breaths, a green-robed elder from the Earth Spirit sect walked out of the VIP room and stepped onto the high platform with a smile. The moment this elder appeared, a series of exclamations sounded. "Oh, Earth Spirit sect's chief appraiser, Elder Zhao. I didn't expect you to participate as well." The white-haired elder gestured. Elder Zhao smiled and said, "This old man is only here to try his luck. Please excuse me." Elder Zhao walked up to the high platform, and his gaze landed on the 3rd of the 4 treasures. The most precious treasure should be this one. Elder Zhao pointed at the human arm bone and chanted a spell. Reference Heavenly Cycle, Spirit Guide, 4 directions. 8 Desolation, 4 divisions, Spirit Link. Appear for this old man. Elder Zhao clasped his hands together, and a huge constellation diagram appeared above his head. It absorbed the starlight and contained hundreds of rivers. Is this the Earth Spirit sect's constellation diagram? How majestic! Many appraisers raised their heads and stared at the human arm bone with anticipation. The jade-like arm bone floated in the air. After trembling slightly, the starlight under the constellation diagram emitted a restrained power. An unprecedented battle chi was released from the arm bone, shaking the high platform. This battle chi had far surpassed the battle soul realm or even the earth realm. It had reached a whole new level. The arm bone of a heaven star border realm expert. Many appraisers were shocked. The battle chi emitted from this item was so strong that it already had the power of a Heaven Star Border Realm expert. This item was left behind by a Heaven Star Border Realm expert. The bone's energy is still there, and the marrow retains its essence. If one can successfully fuse it with his body, his battle chi cultivation will increase rapidly. Who knows, I might be able to comprehend the secrets of the Heaven Dipper realm. Elder Zhao revealed a rare trace of excitement and fanaticism as he explained to the crowd. As an appraiser, being able to consecrate such a strange treasure was a great achievement in his life. In Lin Chen's eyes, after the Heavenly Dipper realm arm bone was consecrated, a dazzling brass treasure chest floated in the air. When these appraisers consecrate these treasures, they can bring out their attributes or hidden treasures. I've struck gold. Lin Chun was overjoyed. He didn't make a move and just watched. Because a good show was about to unfold. Although the arm bone of a Heaven Dipper realm expert is precious, it can't be compared to this. The aged voice attracted everyone's attention. It was another veteran appraiser, the chief appraiser of Green Moon City. Leaning on his walking stick, he slowly walked onto the stage like a frail old man. Mysterious battle chi veins swirled around his withered palm as he held the black jade walking stick in his hand. Then he knocked the green bead with the walking stick, and a faint green mist began to fill the entire platform. Roar, roar! A ferocious dragon roar came from the green bead. Some of the appraisers with lower cultivation were shaken by the roar, and their faces were filled with fear. It was as if they had encountered an ancient giant beast. Lin Chen's eyes shone brightly. The moment the green bead was consecrated, 3 resplendent green attribute light balls rolled out from it. Moreover, Lin Chen was very familiar with this feeling and pressure. Heaven and earth give birth to all things, and the dragon clan is supreme above all things. This bead contains a dragon's breath and dragon chi. It is a dragon bead derived from the ancient dragon clan, and it has the might of a true dragon. If you use it to support the cultivation of the dragon clan's secret techniques, you'll be able to achieve twice the result with half the effort. The appraiser of Green Moon City smiled like an immortal, and the entire crowd sucked in a breath of cold air. It was actually a genuine ancient dragon bead. Coincidentally, this old man was fortunate enough to travel with a real expert in my early years and have seen a real true dragon. Otherwise, I might not have been able to activate the energy in this dragon bead and consecrate it. Luck, luck. Ha 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 ha. The old man laughed, and all the experts looked at the green dragon bead with fiery gazes. The ancient dragon bead was a treasure that could only be chanced upon by luck. Compared to the Heaven Dipper realm armbone, it might be even better. The armbone was only effective for those below the Heaven Dipper realm. Moreover, one had to pay a huge risk to fuse with it. On the other hand, the ancient dragon bead was still effective for Heaven Dipper realm experts. Hee, looks like our Shangwan family can't fall behind. At this time, Shangwan Yunfan walked leisurely, and a confident smile hung on his face as he stepped onto the stage. Everyone's breathing suddenly tightened. Today, the confrontation between the two families would welcome the final clash. Would the Shangwan family emerge victorious, or would the Nangong family surpass them? Or would the two families continue to maintain their status as the two heroes? I feel that this secret manual is the most precious treasure. Shangwan Yunfan laughed, and his pupils turned purplish gold. He picked up the shabby ancient book and activated his battle chi to condense a ball of flame, burning the ancient book. What is Shangwan Yunfan doing? Is he going to destroy the item of the owner? Many of the appraisers were shocked. If it wasn't for the old man on the stage who was experienced and had seen many storms, the scene would have already turned chaotic. Specks of starlight floated out from the burning ancient book. These specks of starlight fell down like dust, and Shangwan Yunfan used a jade plate to catch them all. These specks of starlight turned into 2 thumb-sized specks of dust after the ancient book was burned into nothingness. Shangwan Yunfan blew out a breath of air, and the specks of dust condensed into a fist-sized ball of spiritual light. It emitted waves of spiritual energy, and rows of starlight words appeared in the air. Longevity, True, Flame Seal, Green Rank Top Grade, Alchemy Hand Seal. Just 2 rows of words, but it caused everyone to fall into a state of mental stagnation. It's actually a green rank top grade alchemy hand seal. I didn't expect that I would be able to witness the birth of such a peerless treasure in my lifetime. A group of appraisers exclaimed in surprise, and a small number of people were ready to make a move. Not many people could maintain their calm in front of a green rank top grade alchemy hand seal. Among the tens of billions of people in the entire desolate region, the number of people who could possess an alchemy hand seal of this level could be counted on one hand. All of the 9th level Battle Soul realm warriors immediately took a step forward, intimidating everyone. Green rank top grade alchemy hand seal. I don't need to say more about the value of this grade of alchemy hand seal. Everyone, it is a necessary foundation to establish a sect and establish a great undertaking. Chapter 34. Another treasure chest has appeared. Lin Chen saw that when the longevity true fire seal appeared, there was also a bronze treasure chest floating above the starlight characters. Shangwan Yunfan smiled gracefully, but deep in his heart, he was filled with envy. His Shangwan clan had spent half of their lifetime to obtain a green-grade intermediate alchemy seal to support the clan's development. A green-grade intermediate alchemy seal was even more priceless. As for a green-grade peak alchemy seal, only a fool would sell it. A green-grade peak alchemy seal. Xingwan has sat in the special VIP room of the City Lord Mansion. His hands trembled violently, but he eventually put them down and sighed deeply. As the chief alchemist of Wanling City, no one knew the value of this seal better than him. A green-grade intermediate alchemy seal had made him a respected fourth-grade alchemist. If it was a green-grade peak alchemy seal, his alchemy skills would reach a higher level. This old man is already so old. It's not good to have this kind of stimulation right in front of my eyes. Xing Wanhe seemed to have aged a few years as he muttered to himself regretfully. Old he, don't get too excited. If you mess around here, even I won't be able to protect you. The yellow-robed fatty took an apple and took a bite, laughing mischievously. On the high platform, due to the large number of experts present, the chaos was suppressed. Based on the current situation, the longevity true fire seal was the most precious item. The Shangwan clan is still a little inferior. A group of people walked out of the VIP room. They were the people of the Nangong family. The blue-robed, middle-aged man in the lead laughed lightly. The people of the Huangfu family also followed behind him. I've already seen through the secret in this ancient book. Unfortunately, if your family had someone who had cultivated to the fourth stage of the purple golden pupils, the outcome of today's battle would be hard to predict. The blue-robed man said to Shangwan Yunfan with a strange smile. The latter glanced at the people of the two families. Sure enough, someone has reported the situation of our family to you. The people of the Huangfu family looked at Shangwan Yunfan mockingly, as if they had already seen the outcome of the battle. Yuyin, go up and tell them what is the most precious item. The middle-aged man in the blue robe looked at the high platform. Nangong Yuyin nodded coldly and walked lightly to the high platform. Nangong Yuyin gently stroked the broken ancient saber on the first counter. The 9 jades inlaid on the saber sparkled and gradually glowed. Doesn't this girl know that the thing inside the blade is a Class 4 dire beast nucleus? Shangwan Yunfan frowned. He had already used his purple gold pupils to confirm that the only valuable thing on this ancient blade was the Class 4 vicious beast core inside. Although it was precious, it couldn't be compared to the longevity true fire seal. Could it be? Lin Shun activated his purple golden eyes, and in the world of purple lightning, he observed another wonder inside the ancient saber. The moment her jade-like fingers touched the blade, Nangong Yin cut her fingertip and dripped a drop of blood essence. The entire ancient saber began to surge with a surging, baleful aura. The 9 jade-like vicious beast cores began to shine with an amazing ferocious aura. Many powerhouses in the venue activated their battle chi to protect everyone. 9 purple light pillars suddenly rose, and 3 of them turned into terrifying phantoms of vicious beasts that roared continuously. This is... Shangwan Yunfan's face suddenly changed. Dad, Shangwan Bihan looked worriedly at the high platform. This last round of the treasure appraisal was going to be full of surprises. These are 9 vicious beast cores from the ancient true flame purple phoenix. 8 of them are Class 4, and 1 of them is Class 5. Nangong Yuyin's words stirred up 1,000 ripples. Even many of the famous appraisers in the Wasteland domain were shocked. The true flame purple phoenix had the pure bloodline of the ancient phoenix. Its vicious beast core was more than 10 times the value of a vicious beast core of the same level. Not only that, but one of the vicious beast cores was actually Class 5. Class 5 meant that it was equivalent to a Heaven Star Border Realm powerhouse. A Heaven Star Border Realm powerhouse was enough to dominate the lives of the entire Wanling City. The number of Heaven Star Border Realm powerhouses in the Wasteland could be counted with one's fingers, not to mention killing one. The difficulty of killing a true flame purple phoenix that was comparable to a Heaven Star Border Realm powerhouse was unimaginable to anyone present. Although a top-grade green alchemy handprint was precious, it was not on the same level as the 9 vicious beast cores of the true flame purple phoenix. Lost. The Shangwan family lost to the Nangong family in the end. Below the high platform, there were already people muttering. There were also people who exclaimed that a Heaven Star Border Realm powerhouse could be killed and cast into an ancient weapon. Shangguan Yunfan gritted his teeth. He had already discovered the existence of these 9 vicious beast cores, but due to the passage of time and the fact that they had been embedded in the weapons, he had not been able to discern the true grade of these vicious beast cores. The Shangguan family clenched their teeth. Some lowered their heads and sighed. Some were extremely unwilling and angry, but they did not say anything. Looks like it's time for my Shangguan family to rest and recuperate for a while. The ancestral altar has been closed for decades, and it has affected our foundation. Shangguan Yunfan sighed in his heart. The Nangong family clansmen all burst into laughter. Looks like the number 1 treasure appraising force in the desolate region is still my Nangong family. Yes, the student has surpassed the master. It's the age of the young now. Yuyan, you did well. Shangguan Yunfan, how does it feel to witness your family's defeat? Ha ha ha. Look at you. You look like a prodigal dog. The Huangfu family clansmen mocked with disdain. After today, the news would spread out from the Wanling city. The entire desolate region would know that the Shangguan family was no longer a match for the Nangong family. The Nangong family would take another step forward. In the field of treasure appraising, the number of experts attracted by the number 1 and the number 2 were not on the same level. The Huangfu family would also soar by riding on the Nangong family's coattails. The Shangguan family clansmen stood up angrily. Some of the hot-blooded young clansmen were so angry that their faces turned red. Just when the atmosphere was filled with the smell of gunpowder, the young man's carefree laughter injected new vitality into the Shangguan family clansmen. The real treasure is indeed in that ancient saber. The outcome of this battle has not been decided yet. Everyone responded and looked over. Over 10,000 appraisers looked in the direction of the VIP room's passageway. An elegant and beautiful figure slowly walked up. It was Shangguan Bihan. Behind Shangguan Bihan, there was a young man with a straight back and steady steps. He had both hands in his pockets, and his expression was calm. A confident and not conceited smile hung on his childish face. It's Miss Shangguan Bihan. Speaking of which, who is that person behind Miss Shangguan? It's him. I heard that he's the fortune teller who helped the Shangguan family restore their ancestral altar. I recognize him. He's the young man who made Master Yan from the 24 Stars fortune teller organization belly dance. This is the treasure appraisal convention. What does it have to do with a fortune teller? Yin Juan, who was hiding in the shadows, heard the discussions around him. He was so angry that his black gold was exposed, and he gnashed his teeth. Then, he narrowed his eyes and muttered to himself. Could it be that this kid also knows how to appraise? That's impossible. How old is this kid? How could he be involved in so many fields? Hearing the discussions around her, Nangong Yuyan revealed a rare trace of emotion. Her cold and blue eyes stared at Shangguan Bihan as she spoke in a clear and cold voice. Your previous statement is the same as my appraisal and consecration results. It's not convincing at all. Chapter 35. No, although the goal is the same, the result is different. Your cultivation isn't perfect either, Miss Nangong Yuyan. Shangguan Bihan walked up to the stage with light steps, facing Nangong Yuyan with equal harshness. Before Lin Shun stepped on the stage, he bent down and picked up a dozen attribute light balls. Everyone was confused. What the hell is this kid picking up? You said my cultivation isn't perfect? Nangong Yuyan showed a trace of disdain and asked arrogantly. Then let me broaden my horizons. Where is something more precious than this true flame, Purple Phoenix's vicious beast core? But don't forget who was defeated by me just now. Shangguan Bihan smiled elegantly, looking very dignified and decent as she walked to the counter of the ancient saber. Ordinary weapons only need 1 or 2 kinds of vicious beast cores. Too much energy from the vicious beast cores will be counterproductive, making it difficult for a real divine weapon to take shape and bear. However, this ancient saber is able to withstand 9 fierce beast cores. How could the material used to forge it be ordinary iron? Shangguan Bihan's words woke everyone up from their daze. Many appraisers nodded in agreement. They had always relied on their own methods of appraising treasures, but some of their ideas had deviated greatly. Many people examined the quality of the ancient saber again, but found that other than being broken and incomplete, they couldn't detect any energy fluctuations. Little girl, if speculations can make one an appraiser, then there wouldn't be so few people in this field. The Nangong family head shook his head and laughed, his tone full of sarcasm. The implication was that she had to show her true ability to convince the crowd. I came on stage, so I naturally have my own confidence. Shangguan Bahan's slender hand shook the counter, and a broken ancient saber rose into the air. Her fingertips moved, cutting off the joint between the hilt and the blade. After that, she swung her hand and tossed the saber's hilt to the white-haired old man who presided over the ceremony. Senior Mo, your cultivation is the strongest among those who cultivate fire attribute cultivation methods, so I'll have to trouble Senior to help Xiaohua burn this saber hilt. The secret will naturally surface. The white-haired old man looked at Shangguan Bihan in surprise. How could this girl see through his cultivation and mental cultivation method at a glance? When did she reach this level? If that's the case, then this old man will embarrass himself. The white-haired old man opened his palm and suddenly activated his battle chi. Layers of battle chi condensed into a violent orange flame that suddenly wrapped around the saber hilt. The elderly man's cultivation was at the 3rd level of the Earth realm, and when he activated his battle chi, it was enough to incinerate the entire stage. Hence, the few elderly seniors all activated their own battle chi defenses to block off the power of the flames. Even so, the young people below the stage still felt the extraordinary high temperature, and in a moment, they were already drenched in sweat. Lin Shun, on the other hand, was jumping and jumping around the stage, collecting all the attribute light balls that were scattered on the ground or suspended in the air. Some people were still puzzled. What was this young fortune teller doing? He was groping and grabbing around, but there was nothing but air. If it weren't for the Shangguan clan, he would have chased him out long ago. Only the members of the Shangguan clan were looking at each other with excited expressions. 2 days before Master Shirlaji repaired their Shangguan clan's ancestral altar, he also did the same unfathomable thing. But the members of the Shangguan clan knew that an expert was unfathomable. Lin Shen didn't care about everyone's astonished gazes. He stomped on the ground and soared into the air, grabbing onto the treasure chests that were suspended in the air. They were the 3 treasure chests that appeared when he consecrated the 4 mystic treasures. Host opened the green light brass treasure chest. Received 100 points of green dragon bloodline. Host opened the purple light brass treasure chest. Received true flame purple phoenix wings. Host opened the purple light brass treasure chest. Received the green light low-grade alchemy handprint 8 desolation mystic firewind. Lin Shun grabbed on all the treasure chests. The system screen immediately popped up. The bountiful harvest made Lin Chen's mouth drop. Green light alchemy handprint, green dragon bloodline, and the legendary ancient mutated beast wings. True flame purple phoenix wings? This young master has struck it rich this time. Lin Shun was ecstatic in his heart, but on the surface, he remained calm and collected. Just a few breaths after Lin Chen opened the treasure chests, the surrounding people exclaimed in confusion. What is this? The material used to forge this saber hilt is extraordinary. After the saber hilt was burned by the white-haired old man's battle chi, it actually slowly emitted a blurry brilliance, absorbing the stars and restraining the universe. The white-haired old man had already used all his battle chi to burn the saber hilt, but he could only slowly burn off its dust. The quality of the material used to forge the saber hilt was unimaginable. 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Everyone's attention was on the ancient saber hilt. When the white-haired old man's battle chi was almost exhausted, the saber hilt finally shed all the dust of history that covered it, once again emitting a divine light that originated from the ancient era. The saber hilt was deep purple in the shape of a cross. The handle was like a fish's tail, intertwined with grayish-white runes, like a meticulously carved work of art. What kind of rare or is this? Everyone stared curiously at this brand new saber hilt. Not a single appraiser present could see through its grade. Shangwan Bihan took the saber hilt, raised it, and announced, "This is the Nine Suns Purple Light Essence, a genuine 6th grade rare ore. It is indestructible and can withstand the destruction of the sun, moon, mountains, and rivers. When forging weapons, just a little bit needs to be added, and the entire artifact will transform into a divine weapon. Of course, the prerequisite is that one has enough strength to forge it. A 6th grade rare, or?" When Shangwan Yunfan heard this grade, the corner of his mouth trembled a few times. That level had already surpassed the existence of the Desolate Realm. That was a rare item that even Heaven Star Border experts would find difficult to find. Even if they found it, they might not be able to live to take it. The rarer and rarer the ore, the more terrible and terrible the environment it was born in. Even Heaven Star Border experts might not have the qualifications to set foot in it. Without a doubt, a genuine 6th grade rare ore's value was much higher than the 9 True Flame, Purple Phoenix, Vicious Beast cores. Is this really a 6th grade rare, or? Old Senior M.O., who was hosting the auction, was trembling with excitement. Shangwan Bihan smiled and nodded. "Senior, you can ask the person who entrusted it to find a stronger appraiser to appraise it. If this item is not a 6th grade rare, or I and the Shangwan family will take full responsibility." Many of the veteran appraisers present were amazed. They were 80% sure that this item was above 5th grade. They wouldn't be surprised if it was a 6th grade rare, or the most outstanding appraiser forces and organizations in the entire Desolate Realm were gathered here. If 1 or 2 veteran appraisers couldn't appraise it, there might be a discrepancy. But if everyone couldn't appraise it, then there was only one possibility. This item was not on a level that they could come into contact with. "Looks like your Nangong family's cultivation is still not up to par." Shangwan Bihan returned the same words to the Nangong family and Huangfu family, causing both families to grit their teeth in anger. The Shangwan family elders and the City Lord Manor's people looked at each other. Shock and ecstasy emerged on their faces. At the final critical moment, the Shangwan family had turned the tables once again. They had surpassed the Nangong family. While everyone was still in shock, Shangwan Bihan cast a grateful and admiring gaze at Lin Chun, because the appraisal result this time was told to her by Lin Chun in advance. Chapter 36. Impossible. It's impossible for the Shangwan family to reach such a level of appraisal. Everyone in the Huangfu family was shocked. Huangfu Qingyu had been undercover in the Shangwan family for many years and had already figured out the Shangwan family's level. It was obvious that their appraisal level had not reached the level of the Nangong family. The Nangong family heads' eyes lit up. Everyone in the Shangwan family also revealed different levels of surprise and joy in their eyes. Even their own family members didn't know that such a situation would happen. This means that they have the help of an expert. From the beginning of the competition, it could be seen that Shangwan Bihan's appraisal level was not as good as Nangong Yuyan's. The help of an expert? The two families looked at the scene vigilantly. However, the Shangwan family's people were all familiar faces. Their purple golden eyes were not high at all. At this time, only Nangong Yuyan's cold eyes were fixed on Lin Chun on the stage. Could it be this kid? Isn't he a fortune teller? Seeing his daughter's gaze, the Nangong family head stared at Lin Chun and narrowed his eyes. At this time, Shangwan Yunfan pretended to be modest and laughed loudly. "Ha ha! I still have to thank the Nangong family for letting me win." Then, Shangwan Yunfan patted Lin Chun's shoulder happily and said in a low voice, "Lin Chun, I owe you another favor." Seeing Shangwan Yunfan talking to Lin Chun with a grateful expression, the Nangong family head instantly understood. "We won. We won." The Shangwan family's people cheered. Recently, the Shangwan family's morale had been greatly boosted. Good things kept happening. Damn it, we've been cheated badly. This kid is also an appraiser. He actually hit it so well. The Nangong family head was gloomy. This time, the Nangong family had been cheated badly by Lin Shun. They had suffered a double loss, and even given the title of the #1 expert of the wasteland to the Shangwan family. The people from the Nangong family left the scene in anger. The outcome of the battle had already been decided, and they would only embarrass themselves if they stayed. Only Nangong Yuyin stared at Lin Shun for a while, then walked away lightly. Her usually cold voice had a hint of curiosity and interest. Shangwan Bihan was no match for me. It was you who attacked her, right? What's your name? Lin Shun glanced at her, then turned around and walked away. He didn't even bother with her. For the first time, Nangong Yuyin was stunned on the spot. With her innate talent and appearance, wherever she went, there would be many outstanding young talents surrounding her. This was the first time she had seen someone of the opposite sex of the same age ignore her. Furthermore, he was the one who initiated the conversation, acting cold and aloof. Why don't you take a look at who you're facing? I, Brother Chun, won't fall for your tricks. Lin Shin's way of dealing with people who were more aloof than him was to give them a taste of their own medicine. Oomph. I gave you face, but you don't want it. Nangong Yuyin's cheeks turned red from shame for the first time. She angrily scolded Lin Shun. Her cold blue eyes fiercely glared at him as if she wanted to skin him alive. She then turned around and left. Lin Shun, I really have to thank you this time. Shangwan Yunfan whispered gratefully to Lin Shun. He knew that the only person present who could possibly turn the tide for the Shangwan family was Lin Shun. Lin Shun not only protected the Shangwan family's reputation, but also raised it by a level. His contribution was no less than when he helped them restore their ancestral altar. Haha, it's nothing, it's just a small matter. Lin Shun waved his hand, completely unconcerned. He didn't even mention the reward. This indifferent attitude made Shangwan Yunfan admire him even more. How could this kid be a fish in a pond? Once he encountered a storm, he would turn into a dragon. Only a few people saw Shangwan Yunfan's attitude towards Lin Shun and immediately understood what was going on. After the first round of competition, everyone could see that Shangwan Bihan's appraising skills were inferior to Nangong Yuyin's. But now, she was able to appraise treasures that even Nangong Yuyin didn't notice. Obviously, it was impossible for her to improve so quickly in such a short period of time. All the Shangwan family members present today were familiar faces. None of them could surpass Shangwan Yunfan, let alone Nangong Yuyin. In this case, there must be an expert helping them. And this expert was most likely the young man by Shangwan Yunfan's side. Many of the older generation experts' impression of Lin Shun had risen to an unprecedented level. If he was an outstanding fortune teller who had surpassed Yin Jiwen at such a young age, then he could be called a heaven-sent genius. But if he was both a fortune teller and had the ability to appraise treasures, then he could be called the #1 expert in the desolate realm. Then, the potential he possessed could not even be described as heaven-defying. What a terrifying young man, many of the older generation experts sighed. If the Shangwan family had this child, they would have both a fortune teller and an appraising genius at the same time. This was simply like a dragon entering the sea, sweeping away all obstacles. The conclusion of the treasure appraisal assembly had nothing to do with Lin Shun. Things like collecting rewards were all handled by the upper echelons of the Shangwan family. Many forces wanted to establish a relationship with the Shangwan family and Lin Shun, but he rejected all of them and let Shangwan Yunfan handle it. Although the 6th grade 9 Sun Purple Light Essence was extremely precious, it wasn't of much use to the current Lin Shun. Even if he obtained it, he wouldn't be able to forge any divine weapons. Instead, it would bring trouble to himself. Without a Heavenly Dipper realm cultivation or the support of a large force, touching that item was purely courting death. Moreover, Lin Shun had already become the biggest winner of this treasure appraisal assembly. The value of the True Flame Purple Phoenix Wings and the Green Pill Refinement Palm that he obtained wasn't inferior to the 6th grade rare ores. Right now, He only wanted to find a place to go into seclusion and absorb all the attribute light balls that he picked up during the treasure appraisal assembly. Only his own strength could be used as a life-saving trump card. Seeing that Lin Shun had left, Yin Juan, who was hiding in the dark, had a glint in his eyes. A murderous aura flashed across his eyes. This child must be eliminated. Otherwise, there will be no end to his troubles. Lin Shun left the assembly hall directly. Just as he arrived outside, 5 figures blocked Lin Chen's path. Hee, I've been waiting for you for a long time. I didn't expect that other than being a fortune teller, you're also well-versed in appraising treasures. You've really broadened my horizons. Are you free now? The city lord has instructed me to bring you to her as soon as possible. The ones who stopped him were the yellow-robed fatty and the alchemist, Xing Wanhe. There were also 3 attendants. Since that's the case, let's go. Lin Shun pondered for a moment and nodded with a smile. The city lord's mansion was located in the center of Wanling City. Huang Yuntian, who was the middle-aged fatty who picked up Lin Shun, was the representative for most of the daily affairs. When the city lord was not around, he was basically the one who exercised the city lord's authority. All forces had to give him some face. At night, in the city lord's mansion, Lin Shun was arranged to stay in a pavilion with hundreds of flowers in full bloom. Within a radius of a few miles, there was no one else. Lin Shun was the only one left. According to Huang Yuntian, the city lord of Wanling City did not seem to like others seeing her true face and talking to others in the presence of others. Lin Shun was also happy to be free. He activated his purple gold eyes and scanned the surroundings. Seeing that there was no one around, he finally stood up. The garden around the pavilion was filled with yellow, blue, purple, and green light balls of various attributes. Host has received 19,000 points of Qi and blood energy, 13,000 points of battle aura essence, 1,589 points of mental energy, 31,000 points of cultivation method essence. Lin Shin picked up all the attribute light balls in the garden in less than 5 minutes. Huang Yintian is right. You are indeed an unfathomable young man. A light and graceful voice, like the sound of nature, came from the sky without warning. Lin Shun was startled. When he turned around, a beautiful figure in white had quietly appeared in the pavilion. Even Lin Shun was stunned on the spot by this startling glance. Her hair was adorned with pearls, and her hair was in a lofty bun. Her eyebrows were like the clouds on the autumn mountain. Her beautiful eyes were sparkling, and her lips were bright red like cherry blossoms. The woman's long dress was like snow, and her figure was gentle and charming. When she smiled, it was as if all the scenery in the world had been eclipsed by her beauty. Lin Shin only had one sentence in his heart that could express his intuition about this woman: peerless beauty. Chapter 37. Seeing the young man in a daze, the woman in the white dress smiled and opened her white teeth. Are you the marvelous mathematician who has been in the limelight in Wanling City recently? There was a hint of warning in her smile. Lin Shun was immediately awakened. He was fascinated by the beauty. Ahem, yes. May I ask who you are? Lin Shun coughed lightly and asked seriously. Miss, do you know how many generations I am older than you? The woman in the white dress covered her mouth and chuckled. Every woman has a young girl in her heart. Whether you're a girl or not depends on your mentality and not your age. If your heart is old, you will not be old. If you accept your aging by default, how can you be a girl? Lin Shin's words made the woman in the white dress fall into a rare moment of contemplation. She nodded in agreement and said, "What you said is very reasonable. I will remember your words. This time I invited you here to help me see my problem. Is the city lord talking about the poison in your body?" Lin Shin was naturally not stupid. Who else could appear here except for the city lord of Wanling City, who was known as a fairy descending to the mortal world? Oh, you can actually see it? The city lord looked at Lin Shan in surprise and nodded. Well, I can see a little, but the problem is a bit tricky. From the moment he saw her, Lin Shun activated his purple-golden pupil and saw that there was a black mist lingering between her eyebrows, and it went deep into her body like maggots. Moreover, Lin Shun also perceived a fluctuation similar to an attribute light ball in her body, but he didn't know what it was. It seems that I didn't find a wrong person. Marvelous mathematician, let's talk inside. The female city lord invited Lin Shun into the room. The boudoir was elegant and fragrant, and the fragrance lingered, making people feel relaxed and happy. This poison was left by one of my enemies. It has been entangling me for decades, gradually torturing and eroding my cultivation every day, making me very painful. If you can get rid of it, about the reward. The female castellan carefully explained to Lin Shun the cause of the poison in his body. Lin Shun was moved. This poison was not an ordinary poison. It cannot be cured by poison. It went deep into the source of battle chi and even the whole body. It would gradually corrode the person who was poisoned, and in the end, he would die a life worse than death. This strange poison was formed purely by the opponent's battle chi cultivation base, and there was no antidote for it. Therefore, it wasn't something that a pharmacist could resolve. Rather than calling it poison, it was more like a curse. At this moment, the poison had already penetrated deep into the female city lord's body. If it was not removed within a year, she would not even be able to circulate her battle chi. Within 2 years, her life would be in danger. City Lord, this poison, my name is Byron. Other than the title of City Lord, you can call me whatever you want. Then, Miss Lin, the poison that your enemy used is no small matter. I can only say that even if I try my best, I might not be able to cure you. Lin Shun said seriously. Byron shook her head. No, if you can't cure him, I can only kill you. Byron's words were so shocking that it gave Lin Shun a fright. You want me to do something, and if I can't do it, I'll be killed by you? What is this? This poison has penetrated into my blood vessels and battle chi. In order to expel the poison, there must be no obstruction. Byron's words made Lin Shun understand instantly. In order to expel the poison, there must be no obstruction on both sides, not even close. There are very few female fortune tellers in the wasteland domain. Male fortune tellers either have ulterior motives or do not have the ability but still want to put on airs. Many of them have been killed by me. Byron shook her head and sighed. She then looked at Lin Shun. You are the first fortune teller to recognize that I have been poisoned. Then I won't do it. City Lord Byron, I'm a person who is afraid of death. You should find someone else. That's all. Goodbye. Unexpectedly, Lin Shun stood up and cupped his fists. Then, he turned around and left. What a joke. If he couldn't cure her, he would lose his life. What kind of job was this? Even if this city lord Byron was an immortal, Lin Shun wouldn't dare to take advantage of her if he had the chance. It was fine to use his life to pick up a girl, but to use his life to take advantage of a girl? Although Byron's body had an attribute light ball similar to a characteristic rune, Lin Shun didn't dare to use his life to take it. Wait a moment. Byron didn't expect him to fall out with her. She immediately stopped Lin Shun. City Lord Byron, there's nothing to talk about. I am only in the spirit detecting realm. How can I guarantee that I can expel the poison from your body? If I fail, I will have to pay with my life. I am not someone who has nothing better to do. Lin Shun's resolute attitude made Byron grit her teeth. Then tell me your conditions. My conditions are very simple. I will do my best to expel the poison from your body. However, you will bear all the consequences. Even if you fail, it will not be my responsibility. In addition, if I succeed, I want to double the reward. Lin Shun didn't budge an inch. This made Byron fall into deep thought. The youth in front of her was perhaps her only chance. The poison had already entered her body. If she delayed any longer, her life would be in danger. All right, I will agree to your conditions. However, when I ask you to expel the poison, don't worry, I will cover my eyes. Lin Shun rested for a day in the city lord's mansion. At the same time, he asked the system for a solution to this matter for the first time. He tested it many times on the spot until the next night. In a secret room, Under the dim light on the bed, Byron's jade-like fingers moved and undid the belt of her long dress. The beauty's cherry lips parted slightly, her white teeth tightly biting the hairpin. Her white hands gently twirled, coiling up her fine black hair, revealing only her jade-like back and flawless, slender waist. It was simply irresistible. Lin Chen sat cross-legged behind her. His eyes were covered by a black cloth. A faint lavender-like fragrance lingered at the tip of his nose. Even that faintly discernible, exquisite figure made Lin Chen's breathing quicken. Taking a deep breath, Lin Chen forced himself to calm down. "Miss Byroyan, I am going to start. If you dare to peek, I will not forgive you." Byroyan's cheeks flushed red as she warned. However, her current weak state made her seem more like a spoiled child. Hearing this, Lin Chen's bones turned soft. His fingertips gently touched her delicate and fair shoulders. The woman's faint and trembling gasps almost made Lin Chen lose his mind. "Just your shoulders alone are so smooth." Lin Chen was secretly shocked. His throat moved. Not daring to think too much, Lin Chen began to purely activate his rune energy. The system informed Lin Chen that if the characteristic rune was placed in by Royan's body, the host would definitely be able to draw it out by using pure rune energy. As expected, the moment he activated the rune energy, smoke rose from Byroyan's body. The poison that had been hidden for a long time began to show signs of squirming. "It works. I can slowly draw it out." Lin Chen exerted strength in his palm and pressed down on the beauty's fair shoulders. Following that, he moved his hand down her jade-like back. The poison in her body was slowly being drawn out like a poisonous snake. This feeling of drawing out the poison was both painful and indescribable to Byron. Coupled with the extremely shameful atmosphere, it made it difficult for her to completely suppress herself. Wu Wen, Byron could not help but moan a few times. She was not an ordinary woman. These few moans almost broke Lin Chen's mental state, and the rune energy was almost cut off. "My good sister, don't make any noise." Lin Chen bit the tip of his tongue and smiled bitterly. If he did not react at this time, then he would not be a man. Chapter 38. Hearing Lin Chen's reproachful tone, Byroyan was so embarrassed that she wanted to crawl into a hole to hide her face. Concentrating, Lin Chen once again controlled the rune's energy to condense on his palm. The poison in her body seemed to be attracted by Lin Chen's rune's energy, slowly moving along with Lin Chen's palm. In just a moment, Lin Chen was already sweating profusely. However, he was completely focused, as if he had grasped an opportunity. "Come out." Lin Chen pressed down on the talisman with his palm. Then, he abruptly pulled his hand away. Wisps of dark green mist twisted around the tadpole-shaped talisman as they were snatched away by Lin Chen. Then, they twisted into a dark green elemental light ball and were sucked into Lin Chen's palm. Host has obtained a special rune, Corrosive Rune Level 1. Corrosive Rune has the effect of corroding the target's vitality, cultivation, and spirit. If used alone, the power is relatively weak. If added to the host's attack, the host's attack will have a corrosive effect, and its power will be even stronger. The moment the tadpole-shaped dark green rune was pulled out, the system screen immediately popped up in front of Lin Chen's eyes. He was wild with joy as he waved his fist and laughed loudly. "Success! Success! It's actually real. It's a new special rune. A brand new special rune, the Corrosive Rune. With two special runes in hand, Lin Chen was confident that even if he faced an expert at the initial stage of the Earth Realm, he wouldn't need to be afraid. The moment the poison left her body, Byron, who was lying limp on the bed, felt her entire body go limp and numb. Her delicate body trembled slightly. Although her cultivation was unfathomable, the poison had spread throughout her entire body. She couldn't circulate a trace of battle chi, otherwise it would only make the poison even more intense. After feeling weak, what followed was a warm flow of chi and blood. Bai Ruoyan could clearly feel that the poison in her body had indeed been reduced. It's really a success. Bai Ruoyan excitedly turned around to look at Lin Shun. Coincidentally, Lin Shun was also feeling ecstatic over the new characteristic rune he obtained. The black cloth covering his eyes fell onto the bed. In the dim space, the two of them looked at each other. Lin Shen's fair and beautiful collarbone was perfectly curved through the dim light, and that snow-white mountain range was perfectly presented in front of his eyes. In an instant, the atmosphere became extremely ambiguous and charming. Ah? Bai Ruoyan immediately covered her face. Her cheeks flushed red as she glared at Lin Shun. That has nothing to do with me. You were the one who turned around. I just didn't tie the black cloth properly. Lin Shun was thick-skinned and shrugged his shoulders. He picked up the black cloth and stole a glance at it. He exclaimed in a low voice, "What a nice figure. You wastrel." Bai Ruoyan flew into a rage out of humiliation. She raised her white hand and circulated her vast battle chi. She wanted to slap down, but Lin Shun quickly retreated. Hey, what are you doing? If you kill me, you'll be breaking the agreement. Besides, other than me, there's no one else to treat your poison. If you feel that you're at a disadvantage, I'll just let you take a look. This Bai Ruoyan's cultivation was something that even Lin Shun could not see through. If she slapped him, he would definitely be turned into a meat paste. Bai Ruoyan lightly spat. "I want to look at you. Quickly cover your eyes." Then, Bai Ruoyan turned around and pretended to fiercely threaten him. "If you still dare to flirt with me, or act like you did just now, I'll drag you down with me even if I die." Lin Shun snickered inwardly. "Just now, I used my purple gold eyes to see everything. Why would I be afraid of you? You might profit, but Lin Shun, will never lose." "Hee, City Lord Ruoyan, don't worry. A gentleman like me is hard to find. I definitely won't do anything indecent." Lin Shun sat back down and laughed mischievously. Next, Lin Shun imitated the method just now. Relying on his rune energy, he slowly extracted the poison from Bai Ruoyan's body and turned it into his own corrosion rune. Not only could he increase his strength, he could also take advantage of her. Where else could he find such a thing? During the process of extracting the corrosion rune, Lin Shun purposely used a little more strength, making Bai Ruoyan's entire body go limp. Lin Shun then righteously said that it was necessary for treatment. Finally, the night passed. Lin Shun finally reached the limit of what he could extract. He had extracted a quarter of all the poison from Bai Ruoyan's body. If he extracted any more, it would exceed his limit. At that time, the poison would no longer be stored as attribute light balls in Lin Shen's system. Instead, it would truly be transferred to Lin Shen's body. With his current cultivation and small body, even a little bit of it would be enough to make him suffer a fate worse than death. However, for at least a few decades, Bai Ruoyan would be able to circulate a portion of her cultivation. Moreover, she wouldn't need to worry about the pain brought by the poison. She would be able to suppress a large portion of it with her cultivation. "Huff, I'm so tired." Lin Shun directly collapsed on the bed, panting. After taking advantage of her for an entire night, he was exhausted. Bai Ruoyan tied up her long hair and floated in the air. A terrifying aura was emitted from her body, causing the space to distort. This aura had already far surpassed any Earth Realm expert that Lin Shun had sensed before. The fact that there weren't any attribute light balls around Bai Ruoyan proved this point. With Lin Shen's current cultivation, even if it was an Earth Realm expert, he would still be able to discover 1 or 2 attribute light balls around them. However, there weren't any around Bai Ruoyan. There was only one possibility for this, and that was that her cultivation was too powerful. Congratulations, Miss Bai Ruoyan. Lin Shen was just about to sit up when the beauty's fair and tender feet immediately stepped on his chest, pressing him down on the bed and saying with a smile, "Little fellow, you had a great time touching me last night, didn't you?" The feeling of regaining her cultivation seemed to have turned Bai Ruoyan back into the high and mighty fairy of the past. She immediately started to make things difficult for Lin Shun. Lin Shun, who was suppressed to the point where he couldn't move at all, simply couldn't be bothered to resist. He unscrupulously admired those smooth and slender fair legs, and even whistled and laughed indifferently. Only a quarter of the poison has been removed. If you kill me, there won't be anyone to remove the poison for you in the future. Miss by Royan, the loss outweighs the gain. But these few decades of time is enough for me to find someone else to remove the poison for me, right? I might not necessarily die. Then others might not be as serious as me in dispelling the poison for you, right? What if they add some condiments to you or set you up at a critical moment? Then you'll suffer a huge loss, won't you? The two's words were like swords as they clashed head-on. Lin Chen wasn't at a disadvantage at all. His calm and collected aura even caused by Royan to raise her eyebrows. I'm just scaring you. How can I really kill you? How can I be such a treacherous person? Bai Royan was like a fairy in the clouds, floating up. What Lin Chen didn't notice was that there was still a faint blush on her smiling face, like the afterglow of the setting sun. Chapter 39. Elder sister's acting skills need to be improved. There was no killing intent in your eyes just now. Lin Shun jumped up from the bed and laughed mischievously. Thank you so much for this time. As we agreed, I owe you 2 favors. If it's not a matter of betrayal, I can help you. Bai Royan's reply made Lin Shun deliberately look at her figure frivolously. He smiled mischievously and said, Can you really help me with anything? Of course. Maybe it includes the things you men think about. Bai Royan smiled faintly. Her beautiful eyes contained a dangerous light. After recovering part of her cultivation, she was no longer the target of Lin Chen's teasing. When my cultivation improves, I should be able to get rid of more toxins. Maybe elder sister will need me in the future. Lin Chen's reply made Bai Royan happy. You can get rid of my toxins in the future? If my cultivation improves again, it shouldn't be a problem. In that case, take the Star Jade. If you encounter any danger in the wasteland, you can crush it. I will rush to your side as fast as possible. Of course, my help will be counted as a favor you owe me. Bai Royan handed Lin Chen a thumb-sized Star Jade. He casually took it and smiled. No problem. Although the time she spent with Lin Chen wasn't long, Bai Royan deeply felt that this youth was extraordinary. No wonder he could stir up a storm in Wanling City. Little brother Lin Chen, did you come to Wanling City for the invitation letter from the Heavenly Song Academy? Invitation letter from the Heavenly Song Academy? What's that? Lin Chen's confused expression made Bai Royan very surprised. There was actually someone in the wasteland who didn't know about the Heavenly Song Academy? You don't even know about the Heavenly Song Academy? It's the oldest and highest quality academy in the spirit state. It has independent academies in all 24 regions. The Heavenly Song Academy gathers all the peerless geniuses in the wasteland. Only those with an invitation letter can participate in the Heavenly Song Academy's entrance exam. Byron's slender, jade-like hand flicked, and a jade invitation letter appeared in her hand. I thought you came here for it. I didn't expect you didn't even know about Heavenly Song Academy. Lin Chen's eyes lit up as he asked in amazement. Then wouldn't the academy be filled with experts? It's not just the experts. Among the 10 billion people of the wasteland, 1 in 10 million top martial arts geniuses are all gathered in the Heavenly Song Academy. If you can stand out in there, you will stand above hundreds of millions of people. Bai Royan chuckled. Lin Chen seemed to have thought of his goal. Miss Bai Royan, would it be possible for you to give me this invitation? Hearing Lin Chen's request, Bai Royan's brows curved into crescent moons as she smiled. I can give you the invitation letter, but it has to be considered as me returning a favor. That works too. Lin Shun took the invitation letter. The more powerful a place was, the more attribute light balls he could find. For the current him, Heavenly Song Academy was the best choice. Seeing that she had returned a favor so quickly, Bai Royan was in a good mood. Lin Shun took the opportunity to ask her about Heavenly Song Academy. After chatting with Bai Royan for a while, Lin Shun stayed in the City Lord's mansion to refine all the attribute light balls and trump cards he had obtained before. 3 days later, in the City Lord's mansion's secret room, Lin Shun sat cross-legged, opened the system, and listed his various attributes. Host, Lin Shen Cultivation, second level of the spirit detecting realm maximum strength, 39,200 tiger power chi in blood. 1. 372,000 battle chi essences, 554,000 mental power. 16. 228 cultivation method essence, 52,428 points. Mental cultivation method, primal chaos 5 spirit technique, 19%. Cultivation methods, myriad lightning 1000 June sword technique, heavenly spirit pill transformation technique, 8 desolate mystic flame, true water origin technique, 19%. Soul seizing spear technique, demonic war 4 king seal, Taishur, holy scripture, 3%. Possessed items, secret manual 7-star soul, seizing spear, true flame purple phoenix wings, 5%. Possessed bloodline energy, Azure dragon bloodline, 145 points. Purple golden pupil bloodline, 10,000 points. Characteristic runes, slow rune, level 1, corrosion rune, level 1, 8,520 points of rune energy. Various elemental energy, fire 72,281 points, earth 67,312 points, wood 76,725 points, metal 67,511 points, water 82,448 points. Lin Shen suddenly opened his eyes. A pair of burning purple flame wings had sprouted from his back. They were about 3 feet wide and 3 feet long. The purple flame wings flapped slightly, setting off a terrifying howling storm, raising the temperature of the secret room by more than 10 times. With this true flame purple phoenix wings, my ability to escape has increased by more than a few times. Lin Shen could only display less than 6% of the power of the true flame purple phoenix wings. With Lin Shen's current level of body refinement, if he used all his strength, the true flame purple phoenix wings would instantly drain Lin Shen of his blood and chi. Putting away the true flame purple phoenix wings, Lin Shen left the secret room. He had finished what he wanted to do in Wanling City. This time, he was going to Heavenly Song Academy. Pushing open the door of the secret room, Lin Shen saw a group of people waiting in the corridor outside the secret room. They had been waiting for a long time. Lin Shen, you finally come out. The people waiting outside were Shangwan Yinfan and the others. They were afraid that the City Lord's mansion would harm Lin Shen, so they personally came here to wait for Lin Shen. Everyone, I'm just going to be in seclusion here for a few days. The City Lord treats me very well, so don't worry. Lin Shen shrugged and said to Shangwan Yinfan, Senior Yinfan, please say goodbye to Miss Shangwan Bihan for me. You're leaving? Shangwan Yinfan was shocked. Lin Shen's kindness to their Shangwan family was as heavy as Mount Tai, yet he wanted to leave without properly repaying it? Yes, I received an invitation to Heavenly Song Academy from the City Lord, so I plan to enroll. Lin Shen smiled. Shangwan Yinfan looked pensive. After a moment of silence, he nodded and said, In that case, I won't keep little friend here. Heavenly Song Academy's entrance exam will be held in the near future. It's not good to delay it. This is a little gift from the Shangwan family. I hope little friend won't refuse. Shangwan Yinfan handed Lin Shen a high-quality spirit receiving ring. Just the storage space alone was several times larger than Lin Shen's current one. Thank you, Senior Yinfan. Lin Shen took the ring and bid farewell to the Shangwan family before leaving the City Lord's mansion. Because of his reputation and influence in Wanling City, Lin Shen had to wear a cloak to cover his face when he went out. Returning to the inn, Lin Shen led the Flood Dragon horse and set off on the road to leave Wanling City. At night, outside Wanling City, in a withered forest 100 miles away, Lin Shen galloped past on his Flood Dragon horse. Suddenly, Lin Shen's pupils flashed with a purple-gold brilliance. Just as he was about to enter the withered forest, he immediately reined in his horse and stopped. Everyone, since you follow me for so long, it's time to show yourself. Jumping off the horse's back, Lin Shen faced the silent surroundings and chuckled. He slapped the Flood Dragon horse's buttocks, making it neigh in pain and dash straight into the withered forest. The night wind was slightly chilly. Lin Shun stood alone outside the withered forest. A moment later, a black shadow slowly wriggled in the darkness, and then many figures began to appear one after another. Chapter 40. Brat, why don't you just stay in the Shangwan clan? Why do you have to come out and court death? You are the first person I have seen who dares to walk at night after offending a fortune teller. I have to say, your courage is commendable. Why are you wasting your breath on this brat? He dares to make my Nangong family suffer such heavy losses. If I don't cripple him today, I won't be able to vent the hatred in my heart. Facing these people who suddenly appeared, Lin Chen's expression became serious. Earth Realm, Battle Soul Realm. They were all top-notch experts. The person leading the group was Yin Jiwen from the 24-Star Divination Organization. Following behind him were the elders of the Nangong family, the people from the Huangfu family, and 2 Earth Realm experts invited by Yin Jiwen. Just the number of people present was more than 20. Almost half of them were Earth Realm experts. Lin Shin quickly put away his seriousness and laughed mockingly. Everyone really thinks highly of me. 14 Earth Realm and 11 Battle Soul Realm cultivators came to ambush me. A spirit-detecting realm cultivator? What are you doing? Are you going to fight, or are you going to start a war? On the eastern wall of 10,000 Spirit City, a beautiful figure in a white dress fluttered like a cloud, like a fairy in the clouds. This little fellow was actually ambushed by the Huangfu family and the Nangong family. Let's take a look first. It seems like he doesn't plan on using the star jade I left for him. The beautiful figure in the white dress, ethereal voice, carried a trace of curiosity as it disappeared under the night breeze. Being surrounded, Lin Shun did not feel any fear. Instead, there was a kind of eagerness and excitement in his bones. Only by risking his life in extreme battles would he be able to grow faster. You are full of tricks, and you also have the ultimate skills of a fortune teller and an appraiser. This old man will naturally not underestimate you. Yin Jiwen laughed coldly and nodded to the people beside him. 7 Battle Soul Realm cultivators flashed and surrounded Lin Shun. The other Earth Realm experts were watching the show. No matter how strong a spirit-detecting realm was, could he overturn the heavens? They had a total of 14 Earth Realm cultivators on their side. Even if there were 1,000 spirit-detecting realm cultivators, they would still die. Be gentle. We want them alive. It doesn't matter if you lose an arm or a leg. Yan Jiwen instructed the 7 people. The 7 of them had a tacit understanding and attacked at the same time. 7 snakes entanglement. Battle chi surged, and layers upon layers of chi waves pierced through the void, transforming into a 5-zhong long giant python that coiled over, sealing off all of Lin Chen's escape routes. So what if you're at the 9th level of the War Soul stage? Break for me. Lin Chen let out a loud roar. His entire body was brimming with energy, and he was like a tiger stirring up wind. He suddenly struck out with his palm. Boundless battle chi surged, and his aura descended like a meteor, burning the wilderness. Battle Demon Fire King Seal. The scorching hot battle chi handprint vanished in Lin Chen's palm. Together with the incomparably violent strength, it fiercely slammed onto the battle chi python that was attacking him. Close to 40,000 Tiger Force points of pure strength shook the surrounding area. Bang bang. Lin Shun shattered 2 battle chi boas in succession, and the remaining 7 boas coiled around him, locking him tightly, unable to move. It seems that if I don't use my mini trump cards, just relying on my battle chi cultivation and pure strength, I can at most fight against 2 9th level battle soul stage cultivators. Secretly measuring his own strength, Lin Shun began to circulate the baleful energy hidden in his body. Numerous azure dragon phantoms were about to break through the air. This brat isn't as mysterious as you say. It's just brute force. His brute force is abnormal enough. With the strength of the spirit detecting realm, he can actually cultivate pure strength and battle skills that can shatter the attacks of the 9th level Battle Soul stage. He's simply a human-shaped beast. No matter how monstrous he is after tonight, he will be a cripple. The elders of the Nangong family and the Huangfu family mocked. Huangfu Qingyu was the first to walk out, laughing maniacally. "Brat, you dare to mess with the woman I fancy? Today, I will cripple you first." Chi-Chi. At this moment, a peerless divine power that could tear apart the heavens came from the 7 boas, shattering everything in all directions and sweeping away thousands of soldiers. Bang! The shocking power shattered the 7 battle chi boas, and a 5-meter-long azure dragon claw appeared out of nowhere. Its pure strength was close to 100,000 tiger power. Not good. Qingyu, come back quickly. The Huangfu family's 9th level battle soul stage cultivators and the 2 Earth Fiend Realm cultivators cried out in alarm at the same time. The 2 Earth Fiend Realm cultivators used their movement techniques, wanting to save Huangfu Qingyu. Azure Dragon Bloodline Liberation, 50% strength. Die. Lin Chen's aura soared into the sky, and he was as fierce as a dragon. His eyes were filled with a monstrous berserk intent as he raised his Azure Dragon arm and slammed it down angrily. The pure strength of 100,000 tiger power was enough to cut off rivers and destroy mountains. When he slammed it down, the tornadoes formed by the tearing air currents were like 2 ferocious guillotines, forcefully pressing out from both sides and obstructing the 2 Earth Fiend Realm cultivators' movement techniques. Lin Chen was 1 step ahead of them and smashed Huangfu Qingyu into meat paste. Even the many life-saving trump cards that Huangfu Qingyu had on him couldn't stop Lin Chen from killing him in an instant. When Huangfu Qingyu died, he dropped attribute light balls all over the ground. Lin Chen didn't care about them at all and turned his attention to the system. No, Qingyu. The 2 Earth Fiend Realm elders let out miserable shrieks as if they had lost their parents. When the experts present saw the Azure Dragon arm that was as thick as a jade pillar, they couldn't help but shudder in fear. This was simply a monster from head to toe. There's something wrong with this brat. Everyone be careful. Just as the few elders of the Nangong family were in shock, everything happened in the blink of an eye. When the other party reacted, Lin Chen's right hand was ready to attack, and he instantly shot out a grayish-white talisman. Slow Talisman Seal. Host has activated the Slow Talisman, consuming 1,500 points of rune energy. The Slow Talisman that descended from the sky sealed everyone present. Their battle chi, flesh shell, and reaction had all become rather slow at this moment. Azure Dragon Bloodline release 70% of power. The power of the Azure Dragon arm rose again, instantly breaking through 150,000 tiger power. Lin Chen was decisive in killing. The Azure Dragon arm swept across the surroundings like a windmill, crushing the 7 Battle Soul Realm 9th level cultivators around him into dust on the spot. After crushing the 7 Battle Soul Realm cultivators, Lin Chen swung the Azure Dragon arm and slammed it down on the 2 Earth Fiend Realm cultivators closest to him. Break! At the critical moment, almost all the Earth Fiend Realm cultivators present broke through Lin Chen's Slow Talisman Seal. Lin Chen didn't miss his attack. The Azure Dragon arm pierced through the sky and smashed down violently. The 2 Earth Fiend Realm cultivators didn't have time to activate their defensive battle skills. They activated a battle chi barrier out of thin air to protect themselves. Bang! The earth shook and the mountains shook. The earthquake could be heard clearly within a radius of tens of Li Lin Chen's palm, pierced through the earth vein, leaving behind 2 cracks that were hundreds of meters long. Yin Zhangwen released his life artifact and broke through the seal. When he saw the shocking crack, his pupils shrank. What was that move just now? Spatial seal? No, it's not a spatial seal. He just used a strange secret technique that ignores our defense and makes our battle chi stiff and slow. Chapter 41. The Earth Realm experts from the two clans were experienced and knowledgeable, unlike the Blood Sun City's 9 streams evil sect. They immediately saw through Lin Chen's trump card. Earth Realm experts are still very strong. I used up 1,500 points of rune energy, and I can only seal them for less than a breath's time. Executing the Wind, Thunder, Fire steps, Lin Chen's figure retreated rapidly. Don't let this kid escape. Let's attack together and seal off his escape routes. The 12 Earth Realm experts who still had the ability to fight instantly formed a formation. They weren't like the Blood Sect and wouldn't be easily intimidated by Lin Chun. 4 stars Heaven Trigram formation. The 4 Earth Realm experts from the Nangong aristocrat clan formed hand seals, and 4 rays of starlight shot up into the sky. Continuous circulation and locked onto Lin Chun with lightning speed. This move combined with 4 second-level Earth Realm martial artists, and its power was enough to suppress a mid-stage 4th-level ferocious beast. Green Dragon Bloodline release 90% power, forcefully enduring the tearing pain from his arm. Lin Chen's Green Dragon arm rose by 200,000 tiger strength. The baleful aura pierced through the night sky like an ancient green dragon descending into the world and struck out with a claw that could destroy stars. The green dragon arm forcefully blocked the starlight rays and destroyed 2 rays of starlight. The 4 elders from the Nangong aristocrat clan and Lin Chun vomited blood and retreated at the same time. He actually possesses the power of the ancient green dragon's bloodline. This kid is indeed a prodigy, but it seems like this is the end. The white-dressed figure, standing on 1,000 Spirit City's city wall, was about to make a move when her graceful figure suddenly froze in midair. This is... With his mental senses raised to the maximum, Lin Chun, who was vomiting blood and retreating, could faintly sense danger approaching. A purple-gold radiance covered his eyes, and a trace of obscure, killing intent flashed across the air. Burning Soul, Extinguishing Palm. Wind, Extinction, 14 swords. The sword wind whistled and hundreds of sword lights flashed across the air, covering the space of several hundred feet around Lin Chun. There is also a gigantic fiery palm that was capable of burning everything in its path. It was the joint attack of the Huangfu clan and Yin Jiwen. Faint purple flames and fiery light fought in the sky. The Azure Dragon arm extended to the sky and smashed the huge fiery palm that was pressing down from the sky. His body alone turned into a stream of burning purple flames. Sonic booms rang out from all around. Hundreds of sword lights slashed through the air, but they didn't even manage to graze the corners of Lin Chen's clothes. So fast. How is this possible? How did he break through our encirclement? The people of the Huangfu family exclaimed in unison. Their combined sword skill was not something that could be broken by speed alone. Their sword techniques were complicated like a net, and if one wanted to find the few flaws and loopholes, one had to make a judgment in an extremely short amount of time. If one didn't possess extraordinary insight and reaction speed, it would be utterly impossible for one to escape unscathed. At this moment, a painful scream resounded outside the withered forest. My battle chi. What is this? How could it corrode my battle chi? My arm is going to break. It hurts so much. What the hell are these things? The Disha Realm warriors who had been struck by Lin Chen's Azure Dragon arm earlier all cried out in agony. Their bodies were entangled by a strange pitch-black fog, which kept on corroding the blood, chi, and battle chi in their meridians. Seeing the Earth Realm warriors rolling around in pain, the Battle Soul Realm warriors who were struggling to break free from the slowing rune felt a chill run down their spines. If they were the ones who were hit by this, even if they didn't die, they would be crippled for life. Above everyone's heads, a pair of majestic purple flame wings slowly flapped. Lin Chen stepped on the air and looked down at everyone with a pair of purple gold eyes. Pure water-type battle chi flowed around his body, constantly healing his wounds. His face gradually became rosy as he recovered to his original state. Wings? What kind of secret treasure is that? And that pair of eyes, it's the Shangwan clan's purple gold eyes. His healing speed is extremely fast. This is a high-level healing secret technique. Who exactly is this brat? Why does he have so many trump cards? The expressions of the Earth Realm warriors from the two clans changed. The foundation that Lin Chun revealed today was far beyond their imagination. The corrosive rune won't last for too long. I have to hurry. If I let them regroup, I won't have the chance to defeat all the Earth Realm warriors. Lin Chen's eyes were filled with murderous intent as he locked onto the two Earth Realm warriors who were heavily injured by him from the start. If it wasn't for the fact that there was a huge disparity in their battle prowess, the effect of 1 + 1 would be much greater than 2. Moreover, there were 14 Earth Realm warriors surrounding him. If he didn't use a surprise attack and succeed in a sneak attack, he probably wouldn't even have the chance to escape after they recovered. The power of wind, lightning, and fire was as fierce as a ferocious tiger. The true flame's purple phoenix wings flapped slightly, sweeping up a stream of purple flames that attacked those two Earth Realm experts. The azure dragon arm extended across the sky and violently smashed down. The 200,000 tiger force was like 10,000 galloping horses. Even the air currents collapsed and formed a hurricane that suppressed the two's movements. In the time it took for a spark to fly, one of them was slapped to death. With a flip of the azure dragon arm, the attribute light balls that dropped off quickly fused into Lin Chen's dragon claw and were absorbed by him. The purple phoenix wings changed direction as Lin Chen extended his dragon claw towards the other Earth Realm warrior who was trying to escape. He tore the warrior's body into 4 to 5 pieces. If it was a close combat battle, 200,000 Tiger Force was enough to fight against a 4th or 5th level Earth Realm expert. These two were only at the 2nd and 1st level of the Earth Realm. Furthermore, they were affected by the corrosive rune and had no way to retaliate against Lin Chen's Azure Dragon Arm. This brat wants to defeat us one by one. Don't give him a chance to pursue. Many of the Earth Realm warriors endured the pain brought by the corrosive rune and circulated their battle chi. The spirit energy within a radius of tens of miles started to become restless. These fellows are going to risk their lives against me. It is impossible for me to withstand the full power attacks of 12 Earth Realm warriors. I have to kill at least one more. Revealing his killing intent, Lin Shun turned to look at the first level of the Earth Realm, Yin Jiwen, who was being protected by the remaining Battle Soul Realm warriors. Seems like you are the mastermind behind this operation, Grandmaster Yin. The corner of Lin Chen's mouth curled up with a trace of cold intent. The purple phoenix wings swept across and turned into a fiery light that streaked across the horizon. Not good. His target is Grandmaster Yin. Prioritize protecting Grandmaster Yin. The Huangfu clan and the Nangong aristocrat clan prioritized protecting Grandmaster Yin. They wanted to befriend this 24 stars diviner. Get lost. The Azure Dragon arm swept in all directions with a force that could break through 1,000 caddies. It bounced off the two Earth Realm warriors from the Nangong aristocrat clan. Lin Shin's right hand pushed horizontally in air. A grayish-white rune suppressed everyone, releasing a vast and ancient divine prowess. Everyone's movements suddenly turned sluggish. Host activated the level 1 slow rune. Rune energy consumption, 1,500 points. It was another slow rune that suppressed everyone, but this time, it wasn't as miraculous as the previous time. Under the vigilance of the experts, it only sealed them for less than half a breath's time. But this was already enough. During this pause, Lin Chen's Azure Dragon arm was like a violent dragon that was born. It pierced through the air and slammed down towards the Battle Soul Realm Warriors and Yin Jiwen's heads. Chapter 42. No, you can't kill me. If you kill me, you will be hunted down by the organization. F***CKU. Lin Chen's palm slammed down, shattering his fortune teller's life artifact. All the Battle Soul Realm experts had no choice but to die with him in front of 200,000 Tiger Force. Yin Juan might be at the first level of the Earth Realm, but as a fortune teller, he had lived like a prince for many years. His combat experience couldn't be compared to the Earth Realm experts from before and died on the spot. He actually eliminated Grandmaster Yin. F asterisk CK. Don't let him escape. If not, when the 24-star fortune teller comes looking for us, we will have to bear the consequences together. The sound of wind breaking could be heard. Lin Chun immediately knew that the remaining Earth Realm experts had surrounded him. He activated his Azure Dragon Arm and absorbed all the attribute light balls. He didn't even bother to look at what he had obtained. The true flame purple phoenix wings grew bigger and his speed increased. Lin Chen's body started to burn with purple flames as he soared into the sky. He wants to fly away. Don't give him a chance. Beat him down. The ground flashed with numerous battle chi lights, illuminating the entire night sky. The heaven and earth spirit energy became violent. Thousand slaughter sword, soul chasing slash, true martial image fist, inch flashing star finger. The battle chi attacks that covered hundreds of feet of space filled the sky with overwhelming momentum. They attacked Lin Chun like prehistoric beasts. With such a wide area of coverage, even if Lin Chun activated his true flame's purple phoenix wings to the greatest extent that he could unleash at his current stage, his speed was still not enough to escape from the attack range of the Disharel martial artists. Lin Chun could only grit his teeth and turn to face them. The Azure Dragon arm blocked in front of him, while the true flame purple phoenix wings flapped continuously. Numerous battle chi attacks bombarded the Azure Dragon arm like a torrential storm. Bang, bang, bang. The violent battle chi attacks exploded on Lin Chen's Azure Dragon arm, which was covered with scales. He clenched his teeth tightly. If he couldn't survive this round, he would die here. Blood and flesh flew everywhere. Lin Chen's Azure Dragon arm was being ravaged by so many battle chi attacks that it was on the verge of breaking. Just at this crucial moment, the true flame purple phoenix wings had already gradually flown to an altitude of over 2,000 meters. The momentum of the attacks had weakened by a lot, and Lin Chun had withstood this large wave of concentrated fire attacks. With a flash of green light, the bloodied and mutilated Azure Dragon arm retracted back into his body. Lin Chen's left arm was covered in ghastly cracks. Enduring the immense pain, Lin Chen sucked in a breath of cold air. While spreading the true flame purple phoenix wings, he flew higher and farther into the void, while circulating the true water origin scripture to heal the injury on his left arm. This time, the injury to the Azure Dragon arm is too severe. If I can't find a way to recover it, I won't be able to use the Azure Dragon arm for a short period of time. Otherwise, not only will it not be able to become my trump card, it will instead drag me down. Lin Chen's injuries gradually stabilized, but that Azure Dragon rune was dim and without light. The true water origin scripture could completely heal Lin Chen's injuries, but it could only heal a part of the Azure Dragon arm. This time, the injury was too severe. If he wanted to completely heal it, he would need a very long period of time. Lin Chen's battle chi was abundant. He immediately circulated the true flame purple phoenix wings and hurried on his way, disappearing into the horizon. The numerous Earth Realm experts who were unable to fly could only stay on the spot, filled with regret and vexation. Just as the two clans were still discussing countermeasures, there was a faint fluctuation in the void. A beautiful snow-white figure descended. The woman's figure was extremely beautiful and graceful. Her white dress was like the clouds in the sky, pure and flawless. Her beautiful eyes flickered as she gazed in the direction Lin Chun left in. To be able to face 14 Earth Realm experts with the strength of the Spirit Detection Realm, kill 3 of them and all the Battle Soul Realm experts, and retreat unscathed, as expected of the little fellow who was able to cure that strange poison. Even if he were to enter the Heavenly Song Academy, he would be able to become a top-notch existence. The white-clothed woman smiled like a crescent moon. After sending off Lin Shun with her eyes, she then looked down at everyone with a faint chill. Step on the air. Is she a Heaven Realm expert? May I ask who you are? All the Earth Realm experts were quite frightened by this absolute beauty who appeared like a ghost. Their voices were filled with fear and respect as they inquired. The dead don't need to know my name. The white-clothed beauty's ethereal voice had a hint of dense, killing intent. The surrounding space started to tremble. Lin Shun didn't use the true flame purple phoenix wings to hasten his journey. Instead, he used the flood dragon horse in case he encountered a battle and didn't have enough battle chi to support his retreat. Now that he used his full strength, he could travel tens of thousands of miles in a day, like a meteor streaking across the sky. Luckily, the Shangwan clan left me a large amount of recovery and healing pills in the spirit storage ring. It saved me a lot of time to refine pills. Lin Shun chewed on the pills as he flew and circulated the true water origin technique to heal his injuries. I might as well fly to my destination like this. The true flame purple phoenix wings flapped, and his speed increased by another notch. Originally, it would take 10 days to reach Sunset City, but Lin Shun arrived in 3 days. Sunset City was located at the border of the desolate region in Xuanyu. In terms of scale, it was no less than Wanling City, but because of the frequent trade caravans, it was even more lively than Wanling City. And after passing through Sunset City, it was the Heavenly Song Academy in the desolate region. After completing the procedures to enter the city, a wave of tiredness and fatigue emerged. I need to find a place to rest. Lin Shun slightly activated his purple golden eyes and could see the most prosperous restaurant. It took him half a quarter of an hour to reach it. Stepping into the restaurant, Lin Shun was about to find a good room to rest when the sound of pots and pans breaking came from inside the restaurant. A series of smashing noises came into Lin Shun's ears. A useless collateral branch of the Bai clan wants to eat in the drunken immortal restaurant? Ha ha! Maybe he still thinks that his grandfather, the head of the clan, is still alive. Useless dog, get out. In 10 days, there will be a good show in your clan. Useless, ha ha ha. I won't allow you to insult my grandfather. A dozen young men lifted a linen-clothed teenager and threw him out of the restaurant as if he was a piece of trash. Lin Shun happened to be standing outside. The youth that was thrown out smashed towards Lin Shun. With one hand, Lin Shun caught the youth. Thank you, big brother. The linen-clothed teenager was put on the ground after being caught. He very politely thanked Lin Shun and then glared at the dozen young men in the restaurant. Haha, you're welcome. Lin Shun smiled casually. Just as he was about to enter the restaurant, he suddenly felt a throbbing in his left arm. The azure dragon tattoo on his left arm seemed to be attracted by some kind of energy and chi, faintly flickering with a dim light. The source of this throbbing was the teenager in front of Lin Shun. This is... Lin Shun sucked in a breath of cold air and looked at the linen-clothed teenager with a serious expression. He immediately activated his purple golden eyes. Through the purple golden eyes, the atmosphere of heaven and earth suddenly changed. Lin Shun saw through the teenager's bones, organs, and blood. His physique was completely normal, but in the depths of his blood, there was an extremely well-hidden bloodline factor faintly flowing through his veins. Lin Shun activated his purple golden eyes again and decisively used the highest level of the purple golden eyes, purple lightning generation. This time, the bloodline factor hidden in the blood was completely exposed. All the bloodline factors connected and formed a domineering and fierce azure dragon. The azure dragon coiled in the blood in the body, as if it had fallen into a deep sleep. If Lin Shun did not activate his purple golden eyes to observe carefully, he would not be able to see that this teenager had such a fortuitous encounter. A natural azure dragon bloodline possessor? Lin Shun was shocked. This bloodline was much purer than his own. But because the possessor of the bloodline was still young, this power had not shown any signs of awakening even now. Moreover, The possessor himself did not seem to know that until now. He was only in the chi refinement stage. Chapter 43. Just as Lin Shun was observing the youth, he immediately rushed forward and started fighting with the other youths. The surrounding people did not seem to be surprised and did not even look at him. The linen-clothed youth was no match for them at all, and was instantly reduced to being the target of a group beating. Bang! There was a loud bang, and the youths were sent flying at the same time, attracting the attention of the surrounding people. Who dares to touch the fourth young master? Ah, my leg is broken. Which son of AB** TCH dares to break my leg? The youth in linen robes had an expression of shock as he stared at Lin Shun, only to see Lin Shun patting him on the shoulder. The smile on Lin Shen's face was like a big bad wolf that had discovered Little Red Riding Hood. However, in the youth's eyes, this big brother, who was about the same age as him, was so tall and holy. What's your name? My name is Bai Juanhao. Thank you for your help, big brother. The youth was so grateful that tears shone in his eyes. Just as he was about to kneel, Lin Shen's foot pressed against his kneecap. You're not allowed to kneel. A man has gold under his knees. In the future, other than your parents and the people you cherish, no one else can make you kneel. Lin Shen's voice was like thunder, causing the youth to freeze on the spot. Those words were deeply imprinted in his heart. Bai Juanhao, right? My name is Lin Shen. Let me ask you now, do you want to have power? Lin Shen's question pierced straight into Bai Juanhao's soul. He did not even have to think before he replied resolutely. Yes, I do. Even in my dreams. All right, bring me to where you live. We'll begin the special training immediately. When he heard the words special training, Bai Juanhao's spirits were lifted. Big brother Lin Shun, this way please. When they saw Lin Shun leave so confidently after beating up the youth, many of the hedonistic disciples from the various clans were dumbfounded. Where did this lunatic come from? He even managed to trick that idiot Bai Juanhao into running around in circles? After the two of them left, a few gasps of surprise could be heard from the restaurant. Lin Shun? I think I've heard that name before. It seems that the young man who recently destroyed many evil sects in Blood Sun City by himself is called Lin Shun. In the backyard of the Bai residence, Lin Shun entered through the back door with Bai Juanhao. Bai Juanhao's grandfather was once the head of the Bai family, but his parents passed away first, and then his grandfather passed away due to illness, leaving Bai Juanhao alone. Bai Juanhao, who had no talent or strength, became an outcast that was ostracized by the Bai family. In the room, Lin Shun and Bai Juanhao sat facing each other. Juanhao, you have to change all your cultivation methods from now on. You have to change from chi refinement to body refinement, and then use body refinement to drive chi refinement. Lin Shen's words left Bai Juanhao dumbfounded. This, big brother Lin Shun, what do you mean? It wasn't easy for me to break through to the chi refinement realm. And you want me to refine my body like I did in the body tempering realm? Yes, I am an appraiser. I have keen insight into things, and it is the same for people. You have the rare azure dragon bloodline in your body. Lin Shen's serious expression caused Bai Juanhao to be shocked. Azure dragon bloodline? Yes, azure dragon bloodline. But your azure dragon bloodline is still in a dormant state, and it may never awaken. If you want to awaken it, you have to use some extreme body refinement techniques. If you believe me, go and find all the basic body refinement techniques and battle techniques in your family. Lin Shun changed the topic. Of course, it's fine if you don't believe me. I'll leave immediately. However, it's fate that brought us together. Here are 2 bottles of chi-breaking pills, enough for you to break through to the 9th level of the chi refinement realm in 2 years. As for what you choose, it's up to you. With a flash of the spirit collection ring, Lin Shun left the 2 bottles of pills behind and stood up. Looking at the 2 bottles of pills, Bai Juanhao gritted his teeth. He had no one to rely on in this world. Today, Lin Shen's help was the last trace of warmth he felt in this world. Big brother Lin Shun, I believe in you. I'll go and find a body refinement technique now. Seeing Bai Juanhao quickly running out of the room, Lin Chen's eyelids began to feel sleepy. He simply collapsed in the living room and fell asleep. He had originally planned to rest when he suddenly encountered this matter. However, after calming down, he realized that this was only the beginning. The Azure Dragon bloodline was dormant in Bai Juanhao's body. It was not easy to awaken it. Lin Chun could not directly kill Bai Juanhao and forcefully seize the Azure Dragon bloodline. This was because the Azure Dragon bloodline in Bai Juanhao's body was like a pile of fuel for a fire. If Lin Chun took away this pile of fuel himself, he would not be able to start a fire. Only by helping Bai Juanhao ignite this pile of fuel could he obtain the fire he wanted. At night, everything was silent. The sound of hurried footsteps woke Lin Chun up. Bai Juanhao hugged a pile of body refinement techniques and battle techniques into the room and placed them on the table. He said excitedly, "Big brother Lin Chun, I took these body refinement techniques and battle techniques from my family's technique pavilion. However, they are too low level. They are all below the high level of yellow rank. I don't have the authority to touch those above the peak level of yellow rank yet." Bai Juanhao said apologetically to Lin Chun. Lin Chun stretched lazily and yawned. "It just so happens that you can't cultivate the high-level body refinement techniques anyway. Juanhao, go and bring a large vat over. Remember, fill it with half of the hot water." Bai Juanhao already trusted Lin Chun completely. Bai Juanhao did everything he said. A moment later, a large vat filled with half of the hot water was placed in Bai Juanhao's room. Steam rose from it. Lin Chun took out several herbs from his spirit storage ring. He changed his hand seal and activated his mental strength to extract the essence of the herbs. Bai Juanhao was mesmerized by his smooth movements. He asked excitedly, "Big brother Lin Chun, you're an alchemist. Cut the crap. Take off your clothes and go in." After injecting the essence of several herbs into the water vat, the hot water turned light red. Lin Chun glared at him, and Bai Juanhao immediately took off his clothes in a flurry and entered the water vat. "Big brother Lin Chun, this water is so hot. It's burning." In less than 10 breaths, Bai Juanhao burst into a painful wail. Lin Chun pressed his head directly. "Bear with it. This is just the beginning. There will be things that will be 10 times more painful than this. If you still want power and dignity, then bear with it." While Lin Chun was training Bai Juanhao on the other side, in the distant Wanling city, the lights were waning, and the night view was extremely beautiful. 2 extremely beautiful women with their faces covered had just entered Wanling city and walked on the street. Shocking news! Shocking news! Not even 7 days after the engagement between Master Lin Chun and the Shangwan family, he forcefully divorced his wife. Miss Shangwan Bihan has become a cold flower in the boudoir. According to the rumors, this was all for the sake of obtaining the Shangwan family's treasure appraisal secret cultivation manual. Several hawkers were shouting on the street, attracting the attention of many people. Even the 2 mysterious fairy-like women were attracted to them. After a while, one of the women spoke first. "Sister, it's that Lin Chun again. He's both a fortune teller and a suspected treasure appraiser. He even made the fortune teller of the 24-star fortune teller perform a belly dance in public. He's indeed a strange person. It seems that if we want to see him, we can't continue to waste time here. It'll be faster if we choose to ask the owner of Wanling City." The other woman smiled and looked in the direction of the city lord's mansion. Chapter 44. Late at night, in the backyard of the Bai family. This was the 3rd day since Lin Chun arrived at the Bai family. A youth wearing old-fashioned armor was sweating profusely and panting like an ox. He was constantly doing push-ups. With every push-up, his arms would explode with the sound of bones creaking. All the muscles and bones in his body were on the verge of breaking. He was like a candle in the wind, about to be extinguished at any moment. There was a youth sitting cross-legged on his back, counting for him. 2158, 2159, 2160. Lin Shan shouted for Bai Juanhao as he used his purple-gold eyes to observe the state of his flesh. The azure dragon bloodline hidden in his body had begun to show signs of activity, but it had not completely awakened yet. Originally, with Bai Juanhao's age, he should have to wait until he was 18 years old before entering the awakening period of his bloodline. However, Lin Shan was using external pressure to speed up the process. Looks like it's not the limit yet. Perhaps only when the host is one step away from death can the bloodline power be activated to protect him. Lin Shan was constantly observing the limits of his body as he tempered his body. In these 3 days and 3 nights, Lin Shan allowed Bai Juanhao to consume both food and medicine. He only allowed Bai Juanhao to rest for 2 hours. The rest of the time, he was either soaking in medicinal baths or tempering his body. He was trying to draw out the Azure Dragon bloodline as quickly as possible. The next morning, just as Lin Shan was about to train Bai Juanhao, the 2 people in the backyard of the Bai family heard a series of noisy and hurried footsteps. Bai Juanhao, get out here. You actually dared to find someone to break my young master's legs. Let's see who can protect you today. My family's 3rd young master is bedridden. You trash of the Bai family, get out here. A group of people rushed into the backyard. They were the people from the families behind the hedonistic disciples that Lin Shan had crippled earlier. There were Soul of War Realm, Spirit Detecting Realm, and even some hedonistic disciples from those heavens. My Bai family is so big, but these people actually barged in. It seems like the deacons and stewards don't think there's a need to offend them because of me. Power. If I had power, how could I be humiliated like this? I couldn't even protect my grandfather's reputation. Bai Juanhao panted with difficulty as he growled in indignation. Then go up and fight. Those people who bullied and regretted humiliating you, go up and beat them to death. Leave the other Battle Soul Realm and Spirit Detecting Realm to me. Remember, only you can grasp power and opportunities. If anything happens, I, your big brother, will take the blame for you. Lin Shan waved his hand and strode forward. Bai Juanhao looked at Lin Shan's back, and for some reason his exhausted body gained some strength as he followed behind Lin Shan. Second uncle, it was this brat who injured us a few days ago. A hedonistic disciple recognized Lin Shan and said excitedly to a middle-aged man with a War Soul stage cultivation beside him. So it's you, little brat. You're already at the Spirit Detecting Realm at such a young age. The Battle Soul Realm and a few Spirit Detecting Realm martial artists stood out. Lin Shan took a step forward and turned into a ray of fiery light with the force of wind and thunder. Good brat, you must have eaten a leopard's guts to attack right away. Kill him. 3 Battle Soul Realm and 10 Spirit Detecting Realm martial artists surrounded Lin Shan. With a series of afterimages, Lin Shan's speed suddenly increased by a bit, and in a few flashes, all the Spirit Detecting Realm martial artists were sent flying. How can this brat be so strong? The 3 Battle Soul Realm martial artists were terrified. 10 Spirit Detecting Realm martial artists were defeated by him in the blink of an eye. Lin Shan was not in a hurry to deal with his opponent. He was observing Bai Juanhao. At this moment, Bai Juanhao did as Lin Shan said and rushed forward to fight with the 3 hedonistic disciples. However, he had been trained all night and was already at the end of his rope. He only had his aura and did not have much strength left. He was beaten up by the 3 hedonistic disciples who were also at the Qi refining realm. Lin Shan flicked his finger, and a strand of pure water energy dripped into Bai Juanhao's head. His flesh shell recovered quite a bit of vitality. It's big brother Lin Shan who is helping me. He wants me to defeat these people myself. Bai Juanhao seemed to have been encouraged, and once again pounced forward to fight with the 3 of them. Who told you to insult my grandfather? I'll beat you to death, you bastards. Blood flowed from the corner of Bai Juanhao's mouth. As he was being beaten, he threw out his right fist. All the blood in his body seemed to be burning, and he faintly let out a violent dragon's roar. Roar. A violent and fiendish dragon's roar roared from within Bai Juanhao's body. It actually scared that hedonistic disciple to the point of retreating. Even if I die today, I will drag you all down with me. Bai Juanhao seemed to have unleashed his blood, and the second punch contained all of his strength. All the blood in his body seemed to be burning, and he faintly let out a violent dragon's roar. The wind from this punch was boundless, and it actually contained the pure strength of several thousand tigers. The punch caused the hedonistic disciple's sternum to cave in. Crack! Lin Shun could clearly see that an egg-sized light green ball of light had fallen out from his right arm. Success? His azure dragon bloodline has been awakened. Lin Chen's eyes lit up, and he was overjoyed. He had been concocting pills and body refinement methods for so many days. Bai Juanhao's body and flesh shell had caused his body to be at the limit of what it could endure. In this battle, Bai Juanhao's azure dragon bloodline had been completely drawn out. Bai Juanhao's punch severely injured that hedonistic disciple, causing the war's soul stage, who was in the middle of a fierce battle, to turn his head to look. Lin Shun followed closely behind, releasing 80% of his pure strength, firmly suppressing the three middle-aged men at the 6th level of the war's soul stage. What kind of medicine did this brat eat? How did he suddenly become so strong? The other two hedonistic disciples were so scared that they retreated. Bai Juanhao chased after them relentlessly. "I'll beat you bastards to death." His eyes were covered with a layer of faint green, and his aura was fierce. He punched out with both fists, and each punch created a small tornado. Light green attribute balls of light rolled down one after another, dazzling the eyes. 5,000 tiger power, 5,500 tiger power, 6,000 tiger power. Bai Juanhao's aura rose steadily. His skin was covered with faint lines of azure dragon scales, as if a dragon that had been sleeping for 1,000 years had awakened. In an extremely short period of time, his pure strength broke through the strength of 10,000 tigers like a hot knife through butter. Lin Shun had used a large number of pills and heavenly treasures on Bai Juanhao's body these past few days. At this moment, the remaining energy had become the best energy source to refine Bai Juanhao's body, allowing him to better combine with the awakened azure dragon bloodline. The two hedonistic disciples were only at the 9th level of the Qi refinement realm, so they were not his match at all. Relying on the treasures left to them by their families, they were barely able to survive under Bai Juanhao's hands. He has already reached 11,500 tiger power, and there are still no signs of stopping. Let's give him a try at the battle soul stage. Lin Shun squinted his eyes, and with a burst of pure strength, he shattered the defenses of the two battle soul stage cultivators with a single punch, and casually picked up the attribute balls of light they dropped. He purposely let go of a guard at the 3rd level of the battle soul stage to let him fight with Bai Juanhao. These two brats are too strange. Protect the young master and retreat first. The battle soul stage cultivator rushed over to protect the two hedonistic disciples. Bai Juanhao was like a demon god, and with a punch, even the 3rd level of the battle soul stage cultivator felt the pressure of a life and death threat. 8 trigrams palm. Roar. Bai Juanhao struck out with his palm, and the two sides collided head-on. The aftershock of the impact caused the ground to crack inch by inch, as if countless cracks had appeared. The 3rd level of the battle soul stage cultivator took a few steps back, his eyes filled with disbelief. He was actually pushed back by the 1st level of the Qi refinement stage trash from the Bai family. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.